And good evening and welcome to our WOSQ and ZaleskiSports.com high school football coaches program this evening. We're here to talk about high school football in central Wisconsin with coaches from throughout our area. Good to have you with us for our program this evening here on WOSQ and also on ZaleskiSports.com. Along with Mike Steinwagner and Larry Hazer, I'm Gene Delisio. Should be a fun night as we talk about high school football with coaches throughout our area. Once again, Larry Hazer joining us from WCCN in Neillsville. Larry, good to have you with us. And nice to see the high school football season underway once again.
Yeah, off to another start. Hard to believe it's already here.
And I know you broadcast the Neillsville-Granton ball game on Friday evening. They looked very impressive, I understand.
Yes, they did. They had a lot of kids. I'm sure we'll talk about it with Coach Lehman later on, but, a number of skill positions to replace and some kids graduating, as always, with teams. But Neillsville-Granton just trying to get back on the winning side of things in high school football, and they took the right track in week one with that 35-0 win over New Lisbon. So.
And I know the Warriors have been down for a few years, but certainly looks like some brighter days ahead there.
Well, they got some coaching changes, some things changing on the coaching staff, so we'll see if things can turn around. It's been a long time in Neillsville for a winning football team.
Yeah, we saw the Marshfield Tigers play Friday evening over in Rice Lake. Marshfield won that ball game 44-6 against a team that Marshfield has struggled with in recent years in the opener, but played very well in that ball game on Friday evening. We'll talk more about that with Coach Denny Gadel in just a few moments here on our high school football coaches program. By the way, we're coming to you from the new ZaleskiSports.com studios here.
Impressive.
On the south side of Marshfield. First time I've been over here. Larry, you're also impressive.
Yes, I've never been in here. It still has a little work to do, but a work in progress, but very nice. I mean, we got some nice, comfortable chairs here. We're not sitting on a stool or anywhere. We're lean back here.
Yeah, very, very impressive, and a bit difficult getting in, but once you get through the security guards and the vicious police dogs that are patrolling outside, very, very nice once you get in here. And then I really liked when you come in to the marble foyer, the marble foyer with the gold leaf around on the outside. Very, very impressive. Then you walk down to the entranceway and you see that life-size bronze statue of Jason Zaleski.
Yeah.
That's very nice, very well done.
With the token shorts on.
Yeah, that's right. And
the Hawaiian shirt.
And the cascading waterfall around him. That's very nice.
I didn't know my key fob set off the metal detector so bad, but, after about 5 minutes, they patted me down, and I was good to go.
Well, that's good to hear that. And also you walk down the hallway to the executive suite, and you see the photographs of Jason with some of the celebrities he's known over the years. I was very touched with that photograph of Jason with Mother Teresa. I thought that was very, very nicely done.
That was,
I think that was done at the Rib Lake softball diamond some years ago. she was visiting over there, so that was nice to see that.
You couldn't even tell it. Her picture was cropped in there, but it was very well done, very well touched up, nice.
Well, good job by Jason and his staff here. Yeah. Anyway, we'll be here throughout the evening talking about high school football with coaches from around our area. Should be a fun season for high school football. Any thoughts you have about the upcoming season, Larry?
Well, I just had some. I looked at some things around the state, not just from this area, but the thing that stood out to me is the Notre Dame Nina game the other night, where Notre Dame running back Kingston Allen had 458 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns. But their defense probably isn't that good because the game ended up 55-53 in overtime. Green Bay Notre Dame did win, but for Badger fans, Kingston Allen is going to Wisconsin, so that'll be nice. And then the renewed rivalry between Regis and McDonald Central, as McDonald Central is back to 11-player. Regis kind of dominated in that game, but it's kind of good to see McDonald Central back.
Yeah, we've seen that happen once or twice. Teams that go down to 8-man, then come back to 11-man. Of course, Auburndale went through that some years ago when they had a rough class. I think another school that's done that is Menominee Indian, which I think is now called Menominee Nation.
Okay.
They went to 8-man, then back to 11, but most schools don't make that move, but good to see that some schools are doing that. Because McDonald was very strong in 8-man football.
Yes, they were, yes. And a couple of losing streaks were stopped. Superior ended a 29-game losing streak on Thursday when they beat Eau Claire North. And then Green Bay Southwest got their first win since 2022.
Wow.
So
That always surprised me because when I first came here in the 80s, Superior was so strong in football,
Yeah.
had some really great teams, and
Yeah.
they've been down a lot since then, so it's surprising that they've had some lack of success, but good to see they had some success this weekend.
yes, yeah. So good things going on in football.
Okay, well, that's our high school football preview program coming up this evening here on WOSQ and ZaleskiSports.com. We'll talk with area high school football coaches from around central Wisconsin throughout the night, so please stay with us and hear their takes about their upcoming seasons. We'll take a break and come back with more of our high school football coaches program following these messages.
Have you outgrown your old furniture? Well, I can relate. Then get into Mall Furniture today.
We are never short on inventory, and we are never short on bringing you great deals.
Living rooms, bedrooms, dining rooms, mattresses, recliners, lift chairs, and big clearance recliners. Head to Mall, because we got them all.
Mall Furniture and Mattress, West 9th Street, Marshfield.
Hey everybody, Nat over at Wheeler Chevrolet GMC, and going on now through August 3rd is 0% financing for 5 years on Silverados. You heard that right, 0% financing on all Silverado make and models.
Welcome to Taqueria Monarca at the Marshfield Mall. Experience the bold and fresh flavors of Mexico in Marshfield at Taqueria Monarca. Try the delicious tacos, burritos, quesadillas, bowls, and drinks. And kick things up a notch with their fresh salsa bar. Taqueria Monarca is fast, casual, and delicious.
We are ready to serve you the bold, fresh flavors from Mexico. Welcome to Taqueria Monarca.
Welcome to the competition where only the best healthcare plans rise to the top. Megasure.
Presenting Paperwork Pound Cake, a half-baked plan with flaky service sprinkled on top.
Next up, Security Health Plan.
I call this one the Sweet Security. It has high-quality coverage folded in, and it's frosted with award-winning local service that's sweet but never sugar-coated.
That's a slice of better.
Chef Security, congratulations. Truly the recipe for better.
Hey everybody, Nat over at Wheeler Chevrolet GMC, and going on now through August 3rd is 0% financing for 5 years on Silverados. You heard that right, 0% financing on all Silverado make and models.
That keeps life moving. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
And we welcome you once again to our high school football coaches program on WOSQ and ZaleskiSports.com with Larry Hazer. I'm Gene Delisio, and our first guest this evening is Marshfield Tiger football coach Denny Gadel. The Tigers a winner on Friday night, winning at Rice Lake 44-6. Coming off a 5-5 season, they lost in round one of the playoffs last year to Oshkosh North 28-7. Coach Gadel now in his 16th season. His Tiger football coach, his record 92 wins and 73 losses, and he joins us on our high school football coaches program this evening. Coach, thanks for coming by, and welcome to our program this evening.
Appreciate it, Gene. Good to be here.
And a very impressive job by the Tigers on Friday evening. Nice win against a very good Rice Lake ball club. Fill us in on your thoughts about that win on Friday night.
Well, we've been playing sophomores for quite a few years, and now the guys are turning into seniors. So that's kind of a really big accomplishment for us. Now the kids that were playing for us for a while are now older and have some experience and are pretty good players. I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty good players. We still have a young quarterback. He's a sophomore, but he plays way beyond his age. And our defense is coming into their own. We moved some kids around, and we had some really fortunate things happen on Friday night, and we got the better of it, and I'm pretty excited about how we did play. Even though we only had 30 plays totally on offense, but we had a few one-play drives, which is really cool. We haven't had a lot of explosive fireworks, explosive plays for the last few years, and on Friday night we just, we let it all explode. So I don't know. We can't say much more. We had a nice night.
Well, you talk about big plays, and you're exactly right on that count because you had, 6, 7 touchdowns. They got 6 touchdowns in that ball game, and all from 35 yards away or more. So certainly some explosive plays on Friday night.
Yeah, we can start working on some things now this week, how to run some offense and get some drives going. I guess that's where we're headed to this week. But no, we'll take them when we get them. I know Coach Len, he was kind of joking around a little bit. He goes, "You guys could give us a chance to get a break." It's a defense, they're out one play and then got to go back in. So you can kind of chuckle a little bit, but we'll take touchdowns whenever we get them. I just said, Len, you got to suck it up a little bit, So whatever, we're going to take them when we get them.
Defensively, Coach, let's start there. I thought your ball club did a lot of good things defensively. You gave up over 200 yards to Rice Lake, which is not, a bad number, but I think that really was most impressive is the way you stood in there on the line of scrimmage. Because once again this year, you do not have the biggest defensive unit out there, but they seem to really play toe-to-toe with Rice Lake on Friday night.
Right, but we're very athletic. We're 216, 220, 230 pounds, and pretty athletic. So I'll take that over a guy that's really huge and can just go one side or the other and play 2 gaps, and then it's nice. But we're a defense that moves. We're very we kind of do a lot of blitzing, a lot of stunts up front. So the guys we have are doing that job really well, And the sophomore kid, Easton Halen, really showed that he can play now with the varsity team. So that was a nice thing for him that night. And talking about stepping up and putting his nose in there, Easton's brother, Lucas Halen, is our middle linebacker. And I can just remember it was the first couple of times number 40 and him met in the hole. And, it was a stalemate, but maybe a little bit of movement backwards. And I hear Len getting after him about A-gap, A-gap, A-gap. And I just went over and talked to him. I looked at him. I said, "Do you know what he means, A-gap, right? That means you get there and you get there first and make a collision, Like I know anything about defense, right? I'm a quarterback. And, man, if it wasn't it was the second half, and there was some collisions in the hole. And Lucas just started feeling it. You can see his confidence build, and he took over from there. And he was stopping the kids in the hole and making it a lot better for our defense. How's that? So that's a cool thing. And meeting them in the hole and standing them up, it was a nice night for him.
I just quickly glanced at your stats earlier today and didn't realize Lucas had 17 tackles in that ballgame, a very large number for football on any level.
There's no doubt. Like I said, they're a dive option team, so they going to try to stump you right up the middle, and that's our middle linebacker. So you're going to make 17 tackles, and I think we looked at too. With Coach Harvick today, we looked at because I was at school in the morning. I think we only had 30 offensive plays, and they had right around 58 or 60 offensive plays. So that's doing a lot of tackling. If they only had 60 plays and you got 17 of them, you got a third of them just about, that's pretty cool. So, again, hoping that this is what's going to be the rest of the year for him, and he stays healthy like the rest of our kids and just keeps getting better every week. So, he's a good player for us.
You mentioned the quick scoring strikes you had in that ball game on Friday evening. One thing also about the offense, Rice Lake had over 200 yards of offense in that ball game, which is not a bad number, but you didn't turn the ball over against Rice Lake, did not put them in scoring position. That had to be quite helpful as well.
There's no doubt. I mean, we haven't really set a whole bunch of goals for our offense this year, but, the goals are 300 yards of offense. That's a big goal for us. And 3 touchdowns is kind of one of those magic numbers that our defense says that you get us 3 touchdowns and we can do pretty well. If you get 3, we'll hold them for under 3 touchdowns. So you can remember last year we were giving up 400 yards of offense rushing, but we played some teams that were very, very good last year, and Rice Lake was one of them, and they were one of those teams that had that many yards rushing against us. So it felt good to hold them and stop them, and then on the offensive side, we do our part and get the touchdowns we needed, and special teams chimes in. It was kind of an all-around effort by all the kids, so really excited about what they did. Just can't get too overconfident and do something bad next week. We got to win.
Coach, after seeing that team, your team in action on Friday, any overall thoughts you have now about this year's crew?
it's pretty early yet, first game. Overall thoughts, I'm excited about our speed at wideout. I'm excited about the kids who, had played for us as sophomores and growing up, and I'm excited about our offensive line, who are all seniors except for one sophomore, and the backups are juniors. So I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about our quarterback. He's an awesome kid, great person, and really has things under control. I just got to rein him in and not let him get too out of hand because, he's a student of the game and he knows things, which is cool. Helps to have, people that your father played college football and your brothers played college football, his uncles, I should say, and those are good things, and it kind of melds into making you a football player. So I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about our running backs. I can't not say anything about our running backs. The 1-2 punch that we have with those guys, they're not necessarily one coach, but they're not necessarily thunder and lightning. Big guy, little guy. I mean, they're 185, 190 pounds, and Bus is 216. That's a big fullback. And I'm going to rip on Hayden a little bit because I think Bus is faster than him right now. So that's kind of, I can set a little fire here. Maybe they don't listen to the radios anymore anyway. They're watching YouTube or watching something else on their phone. So I can say anything I want to really, and they won't hear it. But it's really a neat thing what we have offensively. I'm excited about it. We have a lot of offense, and we can pretty much set ourselves up to play any defense out there. The only one that is kind of kicking our tails for the last every year we play them is New Richmond. It still haven't. I mean, we know what they do. We just gotta do it. We gotta be able to make things happen against that team. That's looking way ahead, not even caring about that game. But we know what happens. We get to playoffs, and we're here and they're there, so we play them. And hopefully we make the playoffs, and that happens also. But we got them the last game of the season. Defensively, I'm looking at the defensive backfield right now, and we moved a lot of offensive players over there. 3 out of 4 defensive backs are offensive players from last year. And I have to see them tackle, a little more consistently. And because they can run with people, we got, 4x1 guys on that defensive backfield. Really, really impressed with Kilty, the safety, because he came up and made some tackles, as a safety should. Tackle him right at the legs and flipping him over, a little hog tie method they call it or whatever. But he made some great plays, and that's a kid who's went through the system, did his time, played JV football, played a little bit last year, and now, leading our secondary as a safety. So it's really neat. Linebackers, you got Nowitzki's, and you got both Nowitzki boys playing. One's D tackle, and the other one middle linebacker with Halen. Those kids are just ball hawks, and they get after it, which is awesome. It helps our speed defense, and it helps, the blitzing stunts that Len's got going on. Practice is really a very difficult time for our offense because we really can't get much going in practice because of what they do. We have to run zone schemes, and we have to get the ball off quickly, and there's no standing in the pocket for 2 seconds, which is cool. We make them better, and they make us better. So, again, fun times.
You were talking earlier about the offense, and you mentioned Bus. And for those who don't know, Coach Gator was referring to his fullback, Josh Taylor, who did well last year as a blocking fullback, but he showed some speed, had some big touchdown plays for you on Friday night. So an extra dimension now to your offense with Josh Taylor coming along.
Yeah, there's no doubt. He's a special dude, and the way he can move. He ran over some people, literally ran over some people on Friday night. And, we do some crazy 2-point conversions, and every, 3 out of the 6 or whatever went to Bus on the 2-point conversions, and he just plowed through people at the goal line to score our 2-point conversions. So pretty awesome. And, we affectionately call him Bus. The kids have called him that ever since he's been maybe 5th grade football, youth football. So he, lives up to the name. Last year, I kind of called him Toyota a little bit because he wasn't blocking the best he could, and maybe called him a little Chevy or stuff like that. I just got to get under his skin, and get him going because I said, you haven't earned the Bus nickname yet. That's from way back, the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Jerome Bettis. Yeah, so that's my team, but he's living up to it this year. So 1 game in, and then he's got to jump over the other side of the ball and play some D tackle too once in a while when we rotate guys through. So he's a busy man.
Let's bring in Larry Hazer. Larry, any questions or comments you have for Coach Gadel?
Coach, you talked about the offense and the big plays that you had. Was that something that the Rice Lake defense gave you, or is that something we're going to see from the Tigers this year?
I think, without giving away everything, I liked our speed. We got a 100-meter dash kid on the outside with Gavin Larson. And the other side's Cam Colstead, who's a pretty steady hands on that dude. And I got to go and give Cam some kudos here because we just got done doing special teams at 3 o'clock when we had our first part of practice. And Cam made some great, we call them touchdown blocks. That's the receiver coming from the opposite side of the field all the way to, he's a basketball stud, and he gets in front of guys down there and boxes out as our kickoff, as Gavin's running in the end zone on that kickoff. So he's playing for the team. He's a team player. As of right now, he's really having a good year. And he had the catch on the sideline when we were, I don't know if it was 3rd and 15. We're back at just got a penalty, and we did a dash pass, I think, and he goes up and catches it between two guys and lands on his side, right on the sidelines. Kept the drive alive. And that was he just had a really nice game, and it's really neat to see that. But Gavin is a stallion out there as a running track guy, and Truby, the crazy Truby we call him because he keeps our team light and laughing. And the goofy kid, the backside post he caught on a boot pass. I mean, it was he's waiting for it, but my quarterback can throw the football. Like, there's no doubt he can play. And Truby catches one on the backside post. That's the worst thing that could have happened because now he's chirping all day long. It's the worst thing that could have happened. But love the kid. He keeps the fun going. One of the other things I like about the team is they're a lot of fun kids. There's no really attitudes that are saying like, well, whatever, give me the ball. No, they're in it for each other. They care about each other, and they care about other kids' accomplishments. How's that? So that's really a nice thing to see so far. And they're together. So that's cool.
Yeah, last year you started off kind of slow. But this year, off to that winning start, so that's got to be a plus.
They just told me since 2018 we have not won an opening. Gene, you didn't even bring that up. I'm kind of miffed at you right now. You didn't bring that up. But since 2018 we haven't won a home opener.
Okay.
And I was trying to think back what happened in 2018. I think that we made the level 4 and had the kid get hurt and made us freeze out, and we didn't beat. Was it Homestead? Gene, you got to help me out, man. So, 2018, we got to bring this back, and we got to make the run we had there, too. So, anyway, that's where we're headed, and that's where we're going.
The Valley Conference this year has DC Everest predicted to be first, but
that's great.
They kind of took one on the chin there.
That's great. I can't. I would have put them first, too. I got a point right up there as well with them, so that's great. I put us at least 5th out of 6, so.
Really?
I'm lying, so whatever. We got to all play the games, right? Every coach can say that I sit up here and, like a meathead, but you got to all play the games. And we're taking one at a time, and I'm putting it in terms of a playoff situation. We just won level 1. We're going to play level 2 this week, so we're going to try to get all the way to level as many as we can.
Well, you're off to a good start, Coach.
Yes, they're not playing bad.
Gene?
The Marshall Tigers back in action on Friday night. Their home opener against River Falls should be a pretty good test for you on Friday night, Coach.
Yeah, nice looking team. A little bit high up-tempo offense, and that'll be a test for our defense. But it's going to be our offense is going to have to help on defense. We got to maybe not score in one play. But don't get me wrong. If we can score in one play, we're gonna score, man. We got the kids that can do it. We're gonna do it. So whatever.
You won't turn it back.
We won't. Yeah, we won't give it back or turn it back. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, Coach, congratulations on that one Friday night. We'll see you this week.
You bet. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate you.
Marshall Tiger football coach Denny Gadel joining us as our high school football coaches program continues here on WOSQ and ZaleskiSports.com. Auburndale High School has a new football coach. Brandon Roberson takes that position. We'll talk with Coach Roberson as our program continues following these messages.
Wondering what to feed your team after work, the game, or this weekend? Chips Hamburgers in Marshfield has tasty char-broiled burgers for any hungry appetite. From the classic hamburger to the famous Chips Champ and everything in between. Check out our daily specials. Stop inside to enjoy your meal with comfortable seating. See Chips' complete menu of burgers, hot ham and cheese, hot beef, chicken and fish, fries, rings, curds, and ice cream, all served year-round. In a hurry? Same great menu in the drive-thru. Chips Hamburgers in Marshfield. Be a champ and have a chipperific day.
Tired of hearing about checking account features? So are we. It's more about what you can do with your money to live the life you want. Forward Bank puts your access to everything you need in the palm of your hand. Mobile deposit, recurring digital payments, transfer funds, or pay a friend easily. Yes, our checking is free and includes all that you would expect. It's supported by your neighbors and friends at Forward, dedicated to serving our communities. Open online today at forward.bank.
Retirement is a balancing act because everyone's financial situation is unique. A reverse mortgage loan can transform your home's equity into accessible cash, whether it's to pay off your mortgage, cover bills, or fund your dreams.
The cash is there if we need it, and it just takes a little stress off of our lives.
You have something else to fall back on?
Call me, Josh Kilty, your local retirement mortgage specialist, for a free consultation to help bring financial stability to your life.
Little Sprouts Learning Garden with 2 convenient central Wisconsin locations. Here's Brooke Sievers to tell us about it.
Little Sprouts has been around for almost 7 years here in Auburndale. In Rudolph, we've been open for about 2.5. We serve here in Auburndale, we have 6 weeks old up until 12-year-olds. And then in Rudolph, we have 1-year-olds up until 12-year-olds. The biggest thing that we do with them is we have play-based learning so that they learn through play with each other. And social skills are a huge part of what we do with them.
Find Little Sprouts Learning Garden on Facebook today.
School football preview program this evening. You're listening to our program tonight on Sports Radio 92.3 FM, WOSQ, Spencer Marshfield, and WOSQFM.com, as well as ZaleskiSports.com. With Mike Steinwagner and Larry Hazer, I'm Gene Delisio. Our next guest is the brand new football coach at Auburndale High School, Brandon Roberson. Coach Roberson, thanks for coming by and joining us this evening.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Coach Roberson, well known in the central Wisconsin area as a longtime assistant in the Auburndale program, football, basketball, track and field, I believe, as well, and now taking over the Auburndale football program this year. Coach, I wanted to ask you, first of all, the years you've spent in the Auburndale program, working for men like Jay Anderson, Chad Weinfurter, how has that prepared you for taking the head coaching job here this year?
Got to have thick skin. Those guys tell the truth and they don't hold it back at all. They just come right at you and be like, hey, they need to learn this, you need to do this, do it this way. So just learning how to be organized and kind of directing and leading without overwhelming yourself is some of the stuff I learned for those guys.
All right. Tell us a bit about your sports background and how you came to this position.
Well, I was a talented athlete in high school. I wasn't a superstar or anything. Didn't love the weight room, didn't love any of that stuff. Ended up walking on at Whitewater just because one of my buddies said I was better than some of the other guys, so I had to prove it. Got hurt while I was at Whitewater. Ended up playing a little semi-pro. Got a Arena League tryout and got hurt training, and then ended up in central Wisconsin out of all places. I'm from the Milwaukee area, so I was never imagining living this far north.
Well, here you are. We're good to have you, happy to have you with us here in central Wisconsin. I know you've done a wonderful job in that Auburndale program in recent years, helping out, as you mentioned, in several sports. What's it been like for you now taking over the head coaching position?
It's been a whirlwind. From, July 14th, I had my interview, and then the 17th, he was like, here's the keys. And just kind of like getting in the sports car for the first time with a new driver's license. So just trying to get all that figured out. Luckily, I have a lot of the staff returned from Jay's previous year, so they've been very, very, very helpful with getting me on task and organized and I can't just watch the offensive line and the defensive line anymore. I got to watch the whole team. So that's a big change for me, watching film and game planning. And oh my goodness, the game planning.
Well, as you mentioned, you do have a very good staff on hand as well. How has that helped you in making this transition?
I delegate a lot of stuff to them. I ask their opinion on everything because everybody has a different experience. I know my experience has been we're going to hit them hard as we can and hope they fold before we fold, but you don't always have the players to do that. So you got to find ways to give your players advantages by setting up how they're going to block or setting up how they're going to be able to get into a gap for defensively or even a rotation in the secondary.
Well, what kind of thoughts do you have on this crew you've assembled for Auburndale football this year?
I've had these guys for a while. I've known these guys since they were in like 7th and 8th grade. So I've watched them grow. I've watched them grow into really good players. Like you got the Teska brothers that I don't know how they are brothers because they fight like siblings, but outside of that, they are two totally opposite guys, but they complement each other on both sides of the ball so well. Mm-hmm. Ray is just, he's kind of like the Flash, and his brother Russ is kind of like Nega Flash. Like they butt heads, but when they come together for one common cause, it usually works out well for their side.
Any attributes or strengths you see in this ball club this year?
Our linebacking core is really, really good. Secondary is not bad either. Little thin up front right now. We got kind of banged up during the scrimmage, so we'll see how that goes, how recovery goes with some of these guys. Hopefully it's sooner than later because we got one guy, he's, 6'8", like 270-some pounds, and he got a little banged up. I told him, you can tough it out a little bit, but I said if you're really, really hurt, make sure you're safe first. So,
you, of course, take over a program from Coach Anderson, who had great success in Auburndale. Are there some things you're continuing from what he taught you, or are there a few new wrinkles you want to add to put your stamp on the program?
I have implemented most of what he had going already. Put a couple of my wrinkles in, but I went down to the junior high coaches and had them start running some of the stuff that I want to see start to trickle up instead of forcing seniors to learn something new when they've already been successful in something else. I want them to continue to have a chance at success.
You mentioned some of the ball players. Anybody else on your team that's been impressive so far this summer?
I'd have to say Carter Grosso. He stepped up to the quarterback position. He hadn't played quarterback since he was, a freshman on JV. So him stepping into that position as a senior and just taking over and trying to own the offense the best way he knows how. Who else we got? Truxton Becker. That kid went from last year he was a JV player. This year he's on varsity and he's making plays. And then Alex Becker is just in the middle. He's like a bulldog on steroids. That kid just tries to bulldoze anything that's in front of him. And if he can't run it over, he's going to figure out how to knock it over at least.
I know Coach Anderson had different responsibilities, let's say, or he had quarterbacks with different types of strengths in recent years. Some guys threw the ball quite well, some guys ran the ball well, some guys did both. What do you expect from your quarterback? If you have a quarterback you want to have, what kind of strengths are you looking for?
Well, entertainment is in throwing the ball, but it's not always about entertainment. I just want to cater to whatever. For myself, personally, I like a quarterback that could do a little bit of everything, where he can drop back and throw a fade, but then a quarterback that can take a hit and get back up and not cry about it.
Okay. Let's bring in Larry Hazer. Larry, any questions or comments you have for Coach Roberson?
Coach, for the folks out there, you're new to the head coaching. What was your position as when you were the assistant at Auburndale?
O-line, D-line.
Okay. So now you're transitioning to the head coach. What's been the toughest part as far as offense or defense?
Paperwork. The football part, the part with the kids, that stuff is awesome. It's the paperwork, the extra phone calls, the extra emails that yeah, I never knew was associated with it because the other coaches just made it look so easy. But now I understand why sometimes they would just close the door in their office and just not do anything.
You mentioned in one of the articles here in the Zaleski Sports Magazine that you have a young team and a lot of JV guys coming up now to play varsity. But as you said, you're very well acquainted with a lot of these kids, so that's got to make it a little easier for you coming in here.
Yeah, they already know what my expectations is, especially defensively. When I was coaching them on JV, I ran the defense, and my expectation has always been we got to have 5 or 6 guys on the ball at all times. There's no excuse for taking a play off when you're on defense. Some guys, you see some receivers, especially if they know they're not getting it, they take that play off on offense, but I want to keep it high energy, no plays off at all. The less plays you take off, the better off your team is at being successful at any given play.
First week against Spencer Columbus, 7-6 was the final. What was your take out of that game on that first one?
Defense played well. We got to take care of the ball on offense. Offensively, it was just we didn't have enough stick 'em net this week. It wasn't in the budget this week, so. But defensively, I think we were in the right positions. We did a lot of things correctly. Offensively, we had drives, but it was just ball handling towards the end of drives where we gave the ball, coughed it back up. There was a couple of times I remember towards the end of the game we were actually driving very well, and then we coughed it up and we just couldn't get the ball back.
You got Marathon now this coming week. Another pretty good team out of that Central Wisconsin area. What do you think about them guys?
They got some really nice athletes. Yeah. There's a couple of things that we've been experimenting with that I experienced with when I was at Whitewater. Some of those things that they did. So try to implement a couple of those defenses to see if we can slow them down. It's not always, you can't always completely stop a great player, but you can figure out ways to frustrate them, and that's our big thing. We just want to keep them frustrated, keep them having to think.
You're in the Marywood Conference with Edgar, Abbotsford, those teams. How do you think that season is going to go in the conference this year?
We're just going to fight and compete. I think I got a group of guys that can compete with anybody. It's all about who has the most positive plays while the game is being played. So I think we can come on top, but doesn't every coach?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
We're gonna fight and we're gonna scrap until the last whistle is blown, and then we'll see what the scoreboard says at the end.
Well, congratulations on the head coaching job over there at Auburndale.
Thank you very much.
Gene?
Coach, how about your assistants for this year?
I got Cooper Weinsfurter returned as our offensive coordinator, which is super awesome. That guy is literally just a mini version of his dad. His brain is always working, and his wheels are always turning. We just hired Noah Barrett. He was a Stratford guy. He was playing some pro arena league ball. Came in. He's high energy. He took our linebackers over, and he's just got our linebackers chugging. He's got them going. They're downhill on everything. They're in pass coverage. They're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing, and they're doing it right. And then he's got our special teams looking pretty good too. I got Fletcher Rabb. He has graduated from just counting players on the field to being in the booth and letting us know what's going on. And he's doing a great job with that. He's really good with just communicating with the kids, communicating with the other coaches, especially on the sideline. On Friday, he was awesome. Just, hey, they're in this formation. They ran this 3 times out of this formation, and just getting us that information in a timely manner. And then we have Matt Sievers, a.k.a. MacGyver, Mr. Fix-It. That guy is just give him a screwdriver and tell him a helmet's broken, and he'll build a helmet.
And I believe, didn't Noah Barrett have a pretty good career at St. Olaf?
Yes.
Just graduated a year or two ago and is all conference over there, so a very strong linebacker at St. Olaf on the college level.
Yes, so he's been implementing a lot of that with our linebackers. He's been really good at teaching them. Like I've tried to implement a lot more indie time, so because the guys are so young, so they can learn the concepts. Change up. We do our coaches meetings and we do film together as a staff, and then we come together on Mondays with the kids and tell them first we review the past game, which some of them did not enjoy.
Well, Coach, hopefully things will work out better for you on Friday night. You're at home against Marathon, and good luck in that ball game.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, and thank you for coming by. Auburndale High School football coach Brandon Roberson joining us on our high school football coaches program tonight on WOSQ and on ZaleskiSports.com. Back with more of our program in just a moment.
Here we go, folks. Our home buyer is on the search.
High School Sports is being brought to you by Marshfield Area Chamber of Commerce and Industry. It's Marshfield made new. House of Heating, North Central Avenue, Marshfield. Your premier Lennox dealer. Lean on Lennox and House of Heating to make your home comfortable. BBD Sport Shop, Abbotsford, a full-service sport shop. Fishing supplies, crossbows, guns, and ammo. Plus the largest supplier of bear bait. East Spruce, Abbotsford. And elevate your space. Shop prices more than floors, Marshfield. They offer premium Hunter Douglas window treatments, Benjamin Moore paint.
Is your business, church, or organization getting a fair deal on your copier contracts?
Life has a story.
Do you even know how much you're spending? Valor & Fine Business Technologies has been in the office technology industry for 70 years. We have an award-winning service department, and customers love our fair and flexible service contracts. If you're currently a customer, thank you. If you currently work with one of our competitors, let's talk. We can tell you if you're overpaying or getting a good deal. BBT, we want to be the easiest vendor you work with. B-BT.com.
High School Sports is brought to you courtesy of our broadcaster club members, including Country Wireless, high-speed internet. We bring the internet to you.
Store, Curtis, and at the Nasonville Worldwide headquarters on Highway 10, just west of Marshfield. Master cheesemaker Ken Hyman, tell us more about beer battered curds.
We've been acknowledged as having some of the best curd in the nation and in the world. We actually finished first in the world last year, world competition. So here we are, and we always compete well with other people. So now it's the idea of making a beer batter that could be the best in the world.
Hunting season is here, and BBD has the supplies you need. Check out their large selection of crossbows, including 10-point and Wicked Ridge. BBD has added more hunting gear, deer attractant, mineral, and accessories for a successful hunt. See their in-stock selection of hunting blinds, stands, in-trail cameras, and more. BBD has the name brand gear you can depend on again and again. Big Bear Down. We're always in season. Located on Highway 13 in Abbotsford.
And here we go,
Fall preview program this evening on Zaleski Sports and also on WOSQ. By the way, on Zaleski Sports on Tuesday in high school volleyball, the Abbotsford Falcons and Greenwood Indians meet in Greenwood on Tuesday evening. That match begins at 7:15, and the Neilsville volleyball team competing in a triangular at Cadott on Tuesday, starting at 5 p.m. Those games both will be televised tomorrow night on ZaleskiSports.com. Colby High School also has a new head football coach this year. That job goes to a former Colby standout, Robbie Smazel, who joins us now on our program. Coach, congratulations on taking the job and welcome to our program.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And you've been involved in the Colby program now for many years, player and coach. Fill us in on some things you've done in the background that have promoted you to this position this year.
Yeah, I played at Colby back in the late 90s. Been coaching there for 22 years under Jeff Rosemeyer and Jim Hagan, and then was the offense coordinator the last 8 years there.
So you have a good background in sports and certainly well-groomed for taking the job if you've worked for Jeff Rosemeyer and Jim Hagan. Tell us about that apprenticeship and how that's helped you in this position this year.
You know, I was pretty young. They offered me a job to coach on the staff, and when you get to coach under two Hall of Fame coaches, you learn a lot. You pick up a lot of little things, the way to go about the weekly schedule, how to treat players, stuff like that. You pick up on that stuff, which is nice.
You go back a few years. I'm trying to remember. Did you play or coach under Coach Teska?
No, I did not.
But I'm sure you knew Coach Teska.
He frequents my store. He just passed away here recently. But yeah, he would come in, and I got to listen to a lot of his stories. Played some golf with him over the years. So yeah, he was a fantastic person.
Tell us what it means, Coach, for a student or an athlete from the community to take over the head coaching position at your high school. We talk about that with other coaches and other programs, but in Colby, what does that mean for a Colby guy to be coaching that team?
I think it means a lot, and I think it means a lot to the community because and it also means a lot to the kids because they know you're invested. And I tell my kids all the time that there's tons of people that are invested in this program that text me or call me or see me on the street, and they want to know what's going on with Colby football, and they're always wanting to know and wanting to make sure that we're doing things and going in the right direction.
Well, how have you approached now taking over the head coaching position this year?
You know, I think some of the biggest thing is making sure that we're committed as a team to each other, from freshman to senior, making sure that the young kids know that their hard work is helping the older kids get better, and making sure we're all coming together as a team.
Okay. Anything in particular you'd like to implement as a head coach for this program?
No, we kept a lot of since I've been there for offense, we kept a lot of our same stuff for offense. We've added a few things that we used to run a few years ago, but not defensively. Our defense coordinator did come back. We switched a little bit of our defense a little bit, but we kept a lot of that stuff the same, but practice schedules maybe a little bit different and stuff like that.
Well, you had a very successful win on Friday night, your season opener, with a convincing win over Stanley Boyd, 39-22. Tell us about that ball game and what led to your success on Friday night.
I would say kind of what led to our success, we did not start out great. We did not have a very good first half. We finished the half kind of on a little bit of getting things going in the right direction, and then kind of just talked to the kids at halftime about, we talked about we kind of start slow sometimes. It takes us a little bit to get going, and I kind of left it up to the kids to challenge them, like, you guys will dictate how this second half goes by the first few minutes. And we came out the second half, got a stop, and we got a touchdown right away, and then we got another stop, and then we kind of got it close, and then we turned the ball over, and then we got it back one more time, and when we were able to score again and cut the score to within 3, and then we had the momentum going into the fourth quarter for us.
Well, tell us about some things that you consider a strength on this ball club this year.
We have some seniors that have played quite a bit for us. Arturo Lopez is a kid that was probably our best player offense and defensive line-wise last year, and he's back. High motor guy, just keeps going, never stops. Oliver Steen is a linebacker. He made a lot of plays for us on Friday night. He's he's kind of our emotional leader guy. Another guy, Colt Reynolds, is a big kid. He's gotten a lot better this year. We're hoping to utilize him more on both sides of the ball. He plays offense for us, starts there, but we're trying to use him a little bit more on defense. And then another kid that's back from last year that ran the ball a lot for us, caught some passes with Chase Hegg. He had a big game for us this last Friday, and he's a kid that he makes plays when the ball gets in his hands.
Coach, I noticed today this rather obscure stat maybe, but last year Colby was 1-8, had a tough season. And I see that's the first time Colby has had a one-win season since 1963. It's been a while. So
yeah.
What does it mean to you to come in and turn some of this around this year?
It would mean a lot. And I think it's not even so much turning that around. It's making our culture and our belief in ourselves turn that around. You come off a one-win season, and there's a lot of doubt in our players, and trying to get them to believe in themselves and trying to get them to commit. Like, you guys are good. You just got to commit to it. And I think that's kind of what happened in the second half. We finally started making some plays, and the kids finally started playing a little more freely, and things started to happen. Good things happen.
Any other young men on your ball club who have looked good so far this year?
Marcus Garcia is a sophomore. He scored 3 touchdowns for us on Friday. Made some plays when we needed them. Our quarterback, Logan Reynolds, he's a junior. He played a little bit late last year when our other quarterback got hurt. He had one good game, and then he had one bad game last year, and he usually makes the right decision. He keeps us pretty consistent. We had a quarterback battle with another quarterback in camp, and he won the job, and he's just consistent. He always puts us in the right position.
Okay. How about some thoughts about the conference this year, how that stacks up for you this year?
Our conference is tough. I mean, you got Stratford and Amherst in there, and that's some tough teams that you have to play each week. And and I kind of told the guys, like, we can compete in this conference, and that's kind of been my message about. I don't know how the score is going to end up, but if we keep competing, we're only going to get better. And we only have 7 seniors this year. We have a big class of juniors of 12. So just trying to get these guys to keep competing and keep battling is kind of been my message to them.
Larry, any questions you have for Coach Smazel?
Well, every year you got to replace kids that graduate, and I noticed in reading here that you have several playmakers that you have to replace, and I know you talked a little bit about a few of those. How's that gone for you? I know it's only one game, but
so far so good. We have some skilled guys that got some speed. They're not real big kids, but they're kids that are shifty, and I guess coming from being an old school coach, I would call myself, because I like to run the ball. I have to break some of my own tendencies of, hey, we got to get the ball to these young kids in space and let them run and make plays. And I think we did some of that stuff in the second half, and I think that definitely turned the tide in our direction.
So you coming off as the offensive coordinator and been on the staff for a long time, that's got to be helpful too for the kids, knowing that it's not a new guy coming in.
Yeah, and that's kind of why we didn't change much. I kind of got the job late in June, and then we went to a Duluth football camp, and we kind of kept things simple and the same. And that's, I would say, some of that stuff on defense. We've been trying to give them less and trying to get them to play faster and play more free has helped us a lot.
It's got to be nice to get a win, though, in that first week.
100%.
All right, well, good to have you aboard as head coach in Colby.
Thank you.
And you mentioned, Coach, that a lot of your staff members are back from a year ago. Tell us about those gentlemen working with you this year.
So Cody Meyer's back. He's our defensive coordinator. He's been calling our defense the last 2 years. Coach Rosemeyer that was there was kind of helping him with that. This year I've kind of let him branch on his own and letting him make his own way. That's kind of how I learned, is you're going to learn on the job and you're going to make mistakes, but you always learn from those mistakes. Sawyer Smutzler, he's taking over our special team stuff, kind of coordinating that. It's helped me not have to have so much on my plate. Coach Jimmy Flink, he's been there over 10 years with me at the same time, and he coaches our JV guys, does a really good job with the young kids, getting them to learn and get them the things that we want to teach them. Coach Brett Ewert, he's a new hire. He was with us last year as a volunteer. Good guy that just he helps football, and that's what you want. And then Jay Kornke's a new guy on our staff this year that volunteered.
Should ask you also, I think you got Brent Jeske down at Winona State playing?
Yep.
How's he doing down there?
I shot him a message. I haven't heard back from him. I know he'll be starting again this year.
Okay.
And then we have Caden Healy up in Duluth.
Okay.
Minnesota Duluth, and he just come back from injury, and he's starting to work himself back in.
All right, well, that's some good ball players there. Now, Friday night, Abbotsford, always a tough team for your ball club.
Yeah, Abbotsford, they always create some challenges with their offense, and you kind of got to get your kids trained mentally ready to take on Abbotsford football, because they're going to be, they run their single wing stuff, and they're going to slam it in there, and you got to get your kids mentally ready to take on something like that. And the hardest thing is trying to simulate their offense in practice to give your defense a good look, and that's sometimes hard with not being, your scout team is just not prepared to do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach, good luck in that ball game and throughout the season.
Thank you very much.
Colby High School football coach Robbie Smoslow joining us on our high school football coaches program this evening on ZaleskiSports.com and also on WOSQ. Once again, the Hornets back in action on Friday night at home against the Abbotsford Falcons. And back with more of our program following these messages.
Dealers Ace Hardware in Marshfield, Central Wisconsin's Milwaukee Tool Destination Center. The tools you trust from the people you can depend on. Shop the store within a store and find what you're looking for.
That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. Now that's what I was looking for.
You'll find what you're looking for. We redesigned our store to offer the biggest selection of Milwaukee tools. A selection so big, you'll need a map to find your way out. Dealers Ace Hardware in Marshfield, Central Wisconsin's Milwaukee Tool Destination Center.
Partners Bank, better together.
We know how a bank should be at Partners Bank. Banking should be easier, treating our customers as valued and important. Services should be better with online and mobile banking and locations close to where you live and work. Loans should be quicker, and we make all decisions locally with years of experience helping people with their financing needs. Partners Bank, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender.
Partners Bank, better together.
A&B Process Systems has been a proud member of the Stratford community since 1973. You can find your next career in engineering, welding, and more at A&B Process Systems. Our campus also includes our exclusive Factory Acceptance Testing Center with full-service testing capabilities to ensure that your equipment will perform to your expectations. Visit A&B Process Systems on Facebook today for more information.
Hello, I'm Jenny Shaner, Realtor, Next Home Hub City. If you're a first-time home buyer or seller, or you've been around the block, because of my experience, I'm able to help you in the most efficient way. I'm a full-time, full-service realtor. I focus on my clients 100%. Let's work together as a team for a win in your next real estate transaction.
Hiller's Ace Hardware in Marshfield, Central Wisconsin's Milwaukee Tool Destination Center. The tools you trust from the people you can depend on. Shop the store within a store and find what you're looking for.
That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. Now that's what I was looking for.
You'll find what you're looking for. We redesigned our store to offer the biggest selection of Milwaukee tools. A selection so big, you'll need a map to find your way out. Hiller's Ace Hardware in Marshfield, Central Wisconsin's Milwaukee Tool Destination Center.
Partners Bank.
92.3 FM, WOSQ, Spencer, Marshfield, and WOSQFM.com, as well as ZaleskiSports.com. With Larry Hazer and Mike Steinwagner, I'm Gene Delisio, and with this evening we're talking about high school football with the area coaches throughout central Wisconsin. Our next guest is the head football coach of the Stratford Tigers, Marshall Lehman, whose ball club opened on Friday by defeating Mosinee 31-0. Of course, Coach Lehman has a wonderful program in Stratford. They were 10-3 last season, going to the state semifinals. Stratford now has had double-digit wins in their last 4 seasons and 6 of their last 8 campaigns. So a very strong program in Stratford once again this year. Coach Lehman, thanks for coming by. Welcome to our program.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And tell us, first of all, about that nice win against Mosinee on Friday night.
Yeah, Mosinee's a heck of a program. We're happy to be able to play them early in the year every single year. And we knew they had a lot of new guys coming back as well as or not coming back, I should say, a lot of new guys playing this year as well as us. And so we were excited for the matchup just to see what we had, what we could do. The scrimmage showed well. For a lot of our young guys, but we just didn't know. We didn't know what was going to happen when you get in an actual game and have to play. And I thought our offense and defensive line played extremely well. That was something we were hoping was going to happen. They got a lot of big guys in their team, and we preached being physical all week. And I thought we came out and did that really well. So that was, I think, the big take from that game was that we were able to do that, and that helped us be able to do a lot of other things then on both sides of the ball.
Okay, what does it look like for your ball club this year in terms of some things you feel you can do pretty well this year?
We've got some talented younger guys and a quarterback who's played a lot last year, but not in a quarterback role, and so he can allow us to do a little bit more dual threat type things, which I know our offense is really excited to be able to implement more of that back in a little bit, and so I think that's going to be exciting on the offensive side of the ball. And defensively, we've got some really good returning defensive linemen that are tough to block, and we're hopefully that's going to free up some of our linebackers who are seniors and a junior that haven't played a lot on varsity, but they've been excited to finally be in that role, and they've been playing really physical. So just physicality is really what I'm excited about this year. And then we've got some good senior leaders that have really been a part of leadership committees in the school. And that when you have that and kind of give the team to those guys a little bit, it makes it enjoyable as a coach.
This is now your second year as the head football coach at Stratford. Has the job been a bit easier the second time around?
Yeah, it's just been our whole staff taking on a lot of roles, because being the head coach and then also doing the defensive coordinating. I mentioned that before. It's a lot to do when you got to do a lot of game planning, but do a lot of other behind-the-scenes stuff. So a lot of our staff has stepped up, and all of them taking on a little bit extra. I thought this year it's really started smooth. A lot of coaches taking on roles, a lot of really good communication in the game on Friday night. It helps when you're playing really well, but I think our staff all understands what we're all good at, and me being able to kind of and help those guys kind of figure out what's best for the team. We've fit really well. So that's been a big help.
We were mentioned earlier how strong this program has been, and people all over Wisconsin know the strength of Stratford football. But what does it mean to you to maintain that tradition, to keep that going in Stratford?
Tradition's always a big thing. We talk every year just about what Stratford football is with the kids, but then we don't spend a lot of time after that. I mean, we got to get better at the little things that we preach about every single day. And by doing that, it kind of takes away some of the nerves for the younger guys. But at the same time, they know what Stratford football is and what it takes to continue that tradition. And so we do talk about it early in the year, but once we get going, it's one day at a time.
Okay. Tell us about some of the other young men on your team that you're hoping for good things from this year.
So we've got quite a few, like I said, new faces on varsity, but Colton helped at quarterback. He's being the quarterback and then defense too at free safety. But some other guys like Caden Ostricki, who played really well against Mosinee. He's got a motor. He loves to just be physical and hustle and play, and he's playing both ways now as a senior. He's really stepped up. John May is getting a chance to play a lot more on both sides of the ball. You have a guy like Austin Niehaus, a track kid who's nice and fast, that's getting more opportunities. Now he's excited about that, which are big roles. And then you got Declan Fisher, who's hoping to take on more role on the offensive side of the ball at a running back position, but also at a defensive back spot, kind of a rolled up safety, as a junior. And Matthew Shanefoos, who's been an exciting kid to watch grow up, and he's getting a chance now as well at receiver, at our Z receiver, threw the ball to him quite a few times on Friday night. And then we've got some sophomores too, but Drew Bloom is one that's really stepped up as a sophomore, getting a lot of playing time for us. Playing a lot on offense and starting on defense for us right now. And he was a bright spot on Friday night as well, just getting his feet underneath him. He's been injured a lot. He hasn't really played a full season, I think, like his 6th grade year of school. So he's now finally getting a chance to start out here on varsity and play a little bit. So it's been a good thing to see.
Any surprises you've seen from this ball club since training camp began until now?
I would say the younger group of kids that are taking on roles like a Declan Fisher, a Drew Bloom, Matthew Shanefoos, guys like that who haven't really seen a varsity field much, that they seem like they're at the varsity speed already this early, which is exciting. And then just our senior leadership. I was looking forward to this group, but we're having our meetings on Mondays where the seniors all come in and we sit down and talk about things, but just how they're communicating with each other, I think that bodes well for this year.
Well, Mike Steinwagner is with us. Mike is going to broadcast many of the Stratford games on ZaleskiSports.com. Mike, any questions or comments you have for Coach Lehman?
Yeah, Marshall, I noticed this year your numbers-wise is about the same as it was last year. And you've got 10 seniors, 10 juniors, 10 sophomores, and 8 freshmen this year. So, I mean, pretty much a balanced club. And it's that senior leadership that you were talking about, with Butke and also Kraft and that also in there. But like you mentioned, I think that where you get that varsity experience, I think it's a carryover from Bloom and also from Shanefoos, as they were outstanding all-conference ball players in baseball.
Yes, that's true. So, the younger guys, I think it helps them a lot when you have some of those senior leaders that are able to step up and bring guys under their wing and guide them along through things that maybe are tough in a game, in a varsity game, that it's okay. One play, it's on to the next play. So that senior leadership, Connor Kraft really does a great job of that. Aaron Knetter does a fantastic job, and he's kind of been carrying our running back group really well, because a lot of younger, inexperienced guys besides him. And then Owen Lewick does a great job on the line, and Tyler Butke, who's being a leader for us, and we're excited to get him back when we do here in a couple of weeks. So, it takes a whole team. It takes everybody, but that leadership has really brought those young guys along well.
Well, you look at Aaron Knetter. It turned out last year when Brooks got injured, he came into that running back spot, and turned out that he stepped forward where you needed that running back in there to take the place for Brooks. But and so you're getting that leadership again from Aaron also. But I'll tell you what really surprised me was your defense to start out that ball game. And your special teams. Your special teams were just outstanding the other night.
Yeah, so we definitely have taken on a lot more special teams in practice. We've got a couple coaches that really enjoy scheming stuff with that, which is fun. And coming in and taking over the head job last year, that was one thing we wanted to get a lot better at. There's always room to improve, but we spent a lot of time scheming and working on our special teams, and we think that's a huge part of the game. And it kind of swung things on Friday night with Aaron Knetter's block and scoop and score, which were things that we practice at block drill every single week, a couple of times a week, as well as a scoop and score drill, and it looked almost identical to it. So just seeing some of that stuff play through, we know that can make a big change in a game, and especially in tight battles against really good teams, that can sometimes make the difference.
And, you talked about your receiving core. I mean, you look at Matthew coming in, and Matthew with 5 catches. In fact, you had 6 guys that had at least 1 catch in that contest, and Matthew had 5 of them. So it was spread out quite a bit, and they have a lot of shoes to fill from the receiving core that you had from last year.
Yeah, we lost some really good talent at receiver for sure. And these guys are ready for the challenge. It's just learning a lot of where they need to be on our calls and what the quarterback is looking for. That takes a lot to be on the same page with him. And I thought they did a lot of good stuff in 7-on-7 that helped with that too. But now you got the run game schemes with the pass game built in there. That's going to take a little bit of time. Plus we have a new offensive coordinator in Craig Martins that's been around football for a long time. Was a head football coach at one point, so he's helped us out in past years, like stepping into a full role, and he's adding his wrinkles to the offense, which is sometimes takes a little time, but it's getting some of those younger guys playing receiver, it's getting them in the mix and adding some fun little wrinkles to them guys, which is making them excited.
I know you mentioned Craig coming in this year coaching, and I know you lost a few coaches, from last year. What other new coaches you got coming in at this year at all?
It's for the most part our same staff. Like I said, we did lose our offensive coordinator, Greg Belter, who's been on a good run with us at O coordinator. It was going to be tough to replace someone like that. We're excited that Coach Martin's able to step in and help us. And then as well as Chris Berg, who's had his son coming through. He was a big help to our defensive side of the ball, especially, and offense. And when you lose coaches like that, it takes a lot sometimes, but I thought we brought in a good core and have a good core right there that have stepped up and just taken on more roles. So we have a Tim Kreft that has stepped in and worked with the O&D line a little bit as an added coach. He has helped in the past, but taking on a bigger role. And then Craig, like I mentioned. Otherwise, it's the same staff, and they do a really good job. I'm very proud of working with them. It makes my job a lot easier.
This coming Friday night, you got one of the biggest rivalries ever in the state of Wisconsin, Edgar and Stratford. And the thing is, if you look back, I've been involved now, this is my 3rd year with Zaleski, but the visiting team has won on their field. So you guys, beat them 2 years ago on Edgar's field. Edgar came in, beat you guys last year. It should be your turn this year.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice? No, it just comes down to 2 teams that execute on the little things. And when you do that, it makes games close every single time you play. It can make the away team have a chance to win every single time you go. And it's just exciting. I'm excited. Hopefully a lot of fans show up to cheer on the team. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be in the trenches, and they got some really good speed. That's going to be fun to have to work with as well, because who wants to go against a game where there isn't something you have to really work hard for. So I think that's going to make us better in the end. So we play Edgar, and that's why we have that tradition going with them. And I know their coaching staff, I'm sure, is excited. Their players are, our players are. So it just makes for a super good atmosphere.
One last question. You can answer this if you want to, but I know you jumped up a division this year. And, of course, Mosinee is a Division 4. You may face them again. Who knows? But your feeling on moving up to Division 4?
It's definitely interesting with how that's been going now these last few years. But life is not easy. Sports aren't easy. And so that's what we preach. It's one day at a time. Get better at the little things. And we look forward to having the opportunity to hopefully play some schools we haven't played in a long time and make that a fun atmosphere when we get to that point.
Gene?
All right, Mike, once again, Coach, congratulations on your good success. Back in action on Friday at home against Edgar. Good luck in that ball game throughout the season. That's Edgar High School football coach Marshall Lehman. By the way, that game, Stratford and Edgar, will be broadcast on Friday evening on ZaleskiSports.com, also on AM 1450 and FM 98.7 WDLB and WDLBAM.com. On WOSQ on Wednesday evening, Trajan Bogdanovich joins us for his take on Wisconsin sports on the go with Trage, Wednesday at 5 p.m. on Sports Radio 92.3 FM, WOSQ, and WOSQFM.com. And back with more of our high school football coaches program following these messages.
Welcome to the competition where only the best healthcare plans rise to the top. Megasure.
Presenting Paperwork Pound Cake, a half-baked plan with flaky service sprinkled on top.
Ooh. Next up, Security Health Plan.
I call this one the Sweet Security. It has high-quality coverage folded in, and it's frosted with award-winning local service that's sweet but never sugar-coated.
That's a slice of better. Chef Security, congratulations. Truly the recipe for better.
From humble beginnings in 1904, the Wheatrick family has grown Grassland Dairy Products into one of the largest processors of butter in the nation. Based in Greenwood, Wisconsin, the family and its hundreds of employees continue their pursuit of providing high-quality products that can proudly be served in restaurants and homes across America.
Edgar Lanes is a proud sponsor of Edgar Football. We offer a wide range of youth and adult leagues, tournaments, fundraisers, and bowling parties. Also, try our delicious homemade pizza or something off the grill. Edgar Lanes, where friends and family come to meet.
Hey everybody, Nat over at Wheeler Chevrolet GMC, and going on now through August 3rd is 0% financing for 5 years on Silverados. You heard that right, 0% financing on all Silverado make and models.
Located in Edgar, Wisconsin, Edgar Building Supply operates as a lumberyard and hardware store, assisting contractors, homeowners, and businesses with their building needs varying from roofing and siding to windows and cabinets. Their knowledgeable staff can assist you with planning your project, estimating costs, and drafting blueprints. Get started on your building project today with Edgar Building Supply.
Welcome to the competition where only the best healthcare plans rise to the top. Megasure.
Presenting Paperwork Pound Cake, a half-baked plan with flaky service sprinkled on top.
Ooh. Next up, Security Health Plan.
I call this one the Sweet Security. It has high-quality coverage.
ZaleskiSports.com with Larry Hazer. I'm Gene Delisio. Good to be with you tonight for our preview of the 2026 high school football season. And Edgar High School football coach Jerry Sins now joining us for some comments on his football team. Coach, thanks for being with us and welcome to our program for this year.
Yeah, good to see you, man, again. Things are going okay so far.
Well, that's good to hear. First of all, let's fill us in on, you did win your season opener on Friday night, knocking off Cadott 21-0. Tell us about the performance by your Edgar Ball Club in that contest.
Well, it was kind of a typical first game. I thought we played hard. Cadott played hard. Most of us had a headache before the game started because they had their sound system so loud you couldn't hear yourself think. And I was going to send one of the assistants up to the booth and say, will you tell those people to turn that thing down? And I don't know if they did it by design or not. Their team wasn't out there, so it may have been by design. But I've never heard one that loud ever in my life. But you'd have to walk right up to a guy and get maybe a foot away from him to communicate. But the game was pretty hard-fought game. We had a lot of uncharacteristic penalties the first half. For the most part, I looked it over in film, and I'd study a play 10 times, and I couldn't see the penalty that was called, but it was called, and of course it always happened to be on a big play, like a touchdown run or a big punt return. But that's the way things go a lot of times in non-conference games away from home. So after 50 years, I'm fairly accustomed to that. So my assistant coaches, I thought a couple of them were going to have a coronary, and I was telling them to calm down, guys, calm down. We'll be okay. And eventually we kind of made a couple big plays, got control of the game, and so I was happy with it.
Any overall thoughts you have, Coach, about this year's ball club?
Well, we're fast, of course, because we had a lot of the guys that were in track. When we ran our 40s this year, we ran them with, the electronic chips now, so there can be no coach error. They just run them. And we had one kid who ran a 4.39. We've never had a 4.3 guy ever. Had a couple 4.4 guys. And so, yeah, we got some pretty good speed. We're not overly big. I thought our defensive backs played particularly well against Cadott. We knocked down their quarterback's pretty good, and he threw several passes right to a receiver. It looked like it was a reception, and the guy'd come in and knock it down, picked a couple off. So I thought they played well. Of course, there are some of those fast guys that they can look like they're beating, and while the ball is in the air, they can make up the gap and still make a play, which is nice. Our two offensive tackles are both back from a year ago. They're pretty strong players. So overall, yeah, I think things are going pretty good. We've had a couple, maybe 3-4 guys that have been kind of injured from track yet that still haven't got back to 100%. We're hoping for that. They're getting a little better all the time, mainly like hamstring injuries or hip injuries or whatever. So we're kind of dealing with that too.
Coach, your team had a great year once again last year, going to the state championship game. How much do you have back from that ball club of a year ago?
I believe we got about 5 starters on both sides of the ball, maybe 6 on one, 5 on the other, something like that. So about half the starters are back and about half of them graduated.
So that does help to have some ball players back from a year ago.
Yeah, we graduated, I think 3 defensive linemen, and we might only have one of them back. Or we only got maybe 1 linebacker back. We got some defensive backs back though. And on offense, we got 1 guard and 2 tackles and a tight end, and so we got a few guys back. And that helps, yeah. The guys that had experience, of course, they played. They've been at Madison. We've been there 3 years in a row, so they've been there the last couple of years. A lot of them have played down there, so a non-conference game is not much. They don't get too nervous about that. The new guys, well, yeah, the new guys they always get nervous. So our first year starters were better than they were in the scrimmage. In the scrimmage, they were really pretty nervous, but they had settled down a little. Hopefully this week they'll be a little more calm and ready.
Can you describe for us what that means to a ball club to have that experience of big games like that, state championship games, which you've gone to now 3 years in a row, to play big playoff games every year? How does that help the development of a ball club?
Well, first of all, of course, you get all the extra practices. If you go to state 3 years in a row, I mean, Stratford's done it too. You get 42 games. If you don't get into playoffs at all, you only get 27. So, I mean, that's 15 extra games. So your players get a whole lot of high-quality, intense practice, focused practice. So each year, once again, it's the same thing in college. The teams that win tend to keep winning because they got more practice every year than the other teams do. And if you only play 27 games, well, then it's hard to compete with the team that played 40 or 42. So, it just helps out a lot, of course, especially last year moving up to 6. We had numerous close playoff games, and we managed to pull them all out until the last game when things just went haywire on us. But so I thought that was good for us. We started right out with Loyal Greenwood and then moved on to like Bondwell and some of these other teams that were good, solid teams. Beat Mondovi at Stanley, which was a heck of a game. Probably pretty fortunate to win that one because they had a really good team. I think they're rated first in the state this year, I believe. So that was a big win. But yeah, our kids most of the time they don't get too nervous or too overly concerned about hardly any regular season games. Because they've played in so many playoff games that are bigger games, And we kind of coach it that way, too. I mean, we don't get overly concerned. I mean, everybody in Edgar and Stratford will be fired up this Friday because that's just the way it is for Edgar Stratford game. But neither one of the teams are going to be overly concerned about how the game turns out. No, when the game's over, it's over. We shake hands, we smile, and all right, let's get on to the next week because it's just a non-conference game.
Now, Coach, a number of years ago, your program, perhaps more than most, if not all, smaller schools programs, made a great effort to play two-platoon football. That might be something we see a lot amongst the larger schools, certainly not so much among schools your size. How much of that are you still able to do these days?
Well, not a whole lot. We mainly do it with our offensive linemen because there are guys that can physically play offensive line that just can't play defense in high school. And, of course, they can't play both ways, a lot of them either, because they're 245, 50, 60 pounds. And they're not fast enough, really, to be an effective defensive lineman. And, of course, they don't have the cardio, ability to play in the trenches, especially early in the year when it's hot and humid, both ways. Defensive backs, wide receivers, the other guys are just running around in space. They're track guys anyway. They can do it fine. Our running backs got pretty tired at Cadott because they both started in defense, one at linebacker and one at corner. And by the fourth quarter, they were getting pretty tired. So we'll have to address that issue this week and give them a little more rest during the game.
Want to bring in Larry Hazer for some questions or comments on Edgar football, Larry?
I'm just, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I am honored to be in the presence of Mr. Jerry Sins because I don't think I've ever actually met you face to face. So I'm honored to be here with you, Coach. Over 50 years coaching, 50 consecutive winning seasons, 100 playoff wins, 16 state championship game appearances, and 9 titles. Does anything get old or anything do you see new after all these years and all these championships?
Well, it's always fun because you always get a new group of players and you always have a new group of parents. It's kind of by the grace of God that I'm still here, I guess, because, I was diagnosed with cancer back in 2006, I think it was. That's almost 20 years ago now. Went to Mayo, had surgery. I thought maybe I had 15 years then. Well, now I've surpassed the 15 years, and I feel about like I did the last 10, 15 years. So my health seems to stay about the same. So I'm grateful for that. I've gone through 2 entire sets of coaching staffs. Now, all the guys that I started with that coached with me for about the first 30 years have all retired. And now I got a whole new set of guys, and some of them have like 15 years experience now, too. They think they're getting old. I'm telling them, no, you guys are young. Believe me, you guys are young. Just keep working. So yeah, I got a whole new crew, and they're a very good crew, and a lot of them played college football, which helps out a lot, too.
4 wins away from 500 in your career. How special is that for you?
Well, it's not really anything that we talk about. I haven't even mentioned it to the kids. I imagine, just because of all the media stuff, they probably are aware of it some. I told the coaches this summer, guys, I don't want any goofy special thing going on that night. And they go, oh, that's already set. You got no control of that. So you guys probably know more about it than I do because
I don't know. So it's going to be a special.
I don't know if it is or not. I don't know.
Well, for you personally, I mean.
Well, it'll be okay. It's not going to be anything. I mean, I remember when we won 300. I think that was back in like 2008 when my youngest son was like a junior, and we had a heck of a streak going. And I think we won 41 out of 42 games in 2008, 9, and 10. Our only loss, I believe, was to Stratford at State in a really tough game. And I thought then I might retire because he was going on to play at Purdue, and I thought, oh, that's going to be a tough trip. But then I kind of stayed on. Well, then I think it was 2017 maybe. It was about 8, 9 years later. Then it got to 400. Well, of course, then I was thinking, all right, maybe in 2020 I'll retire. Well, then we had the dang COVID year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I thought, I can't retire in a year like this. This is terrible. And so then I just kind of kept going, and now it's 2026, and like I said, well, as long as I feel okay. I've been retired from teaching for 10 years now, so basically all I have to do is coach, so I have a little advantage over some of these guys that have to teach all day.
Well, congratulations again, Coach, on a fine career, and looking forward to another good season of Edgar football.
Thanks.
You know, Coach, one thing that strikes me is you mentioned you've had 2 different staffs now, really over 50 years. Most coaches, if they coach 50 years, would have like 17 different staffs. So how have you kept only 2 together? How have you been able to keep so many guys in your program for so long?
I think 4 of the previous assistants coached for 30 years or more. Jim Steinke and Dave Bielmeyer and Brent Engelwright. Yeah, there were a group of those guys that several of them are in the Hall of Fame as assistant coaches. So yeah, a lot of those guys coached 30 years or more, but they eventually retired from teaching, and then they either moved away or whatever, just gave it up for one reason or another, and I just kind of stuck with it to have something to do, basically.
And while you're still doing a fine job, so we appreciate you being here. And once again, your team back in action on Friday with the Stratford Tigers. Good luck in that ball game on Friday night.
Yeah, thanks. I'm sure it'll be fun. Of course, Marshall and Blake both coaching over there. 2 guys that I coached at Edgar and guys that played in college and just good guys. Their parents still live in Edgar, and their dad comes in a fitness center. He's had a couple health issues too in the past, and so it's always good to see him. And just a good family and good guys.
Well, Coach, good luck in that one throughout the season.
Thank you very much.
Edgar High School football coach Jerry Sins joining us on our high school football coaches program here on ZaleskiSports.com and on WOSQ. Once again, the Wildcats and the Stratford Tigers meet in Edgar on Friday night. Game time, 7 p.m. That game will be heard on Friday evening on ZaleskiSports.com and also on AM 1450 and FM 98.7 WDLB. And more of our coaches program following these messages.
Scotty's Pizza and Chicken, how can I help you?
Scotty's Pizza and Chicken has been voted best pizza in Marshfield 16 years in a row. Scotty's Pizza and Chicken is ready for your call now. Choose drunken chicken, BLT, Western, mac and cheese, sweet chili chicken, and more. Plus, Scotty's has broasted chicken, fish sandwiches, salads, and desserts. Scotty's Pizza and Chicken, 715-384-8118 and Scotty'sPizza.com.
Scotty's Pizza and Chicken, how can I help you?
Tired of hearing about checking account features? So are we. It's more about what you can do with your money to live the life you want. Forward Bank puts your access to everything you need in the palm of your hand. Mobile deposit, recurring digital payments, transfer funds, or pay a friend easily. Yes, our checking is free and includes all that you would expect. It's supported by your neighbors and friends at Forward, dedicated to serving our communities. Open online today at forward.bank.
Why work for Staub Construction?
Everybody around you is just family.
Everybody seems to bond together and get along good, and
they, I believe, truly care about their employees.
Staub has a great benefits package.
Staub is an employee-owned company that puts a large emphasis on work-life balance.
And everybody wants to see everybody succeed.
It's a good place to work.
Join the team at Staub Construction. Apply now at StaubCO.com.
Nuts Deep 2, a Marshfield favorite for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Soup, salad, pizza, omelets, sandwiches, wraps, and burgers. How about appetizers like loaded tots and super nuts nachos? 14 large TVs to watch all your favorite games. Plus, entertainment and event space for groups large and small for your upcoming parties. Nuts Deep 2 again, awarded Best Burgers and Fish Fry in Marshfield. Nuts Deep 2 on South Central Avenue in Marshfield and Nuts Deep 2 North in Spencer.
Scotty's Pizza and Chicken, how can I help you?
Scotty's Pizza and Chicken has been voted best pizza in Marshfield 16 years in a row. Scotty's Pizza and Chicken is ready for your call now. Choose drunken chicken, BLT, Western, mac and cheese, sweet chili chicken, and more. Plus, Scotty's has broasted chicken, fish sandwiches, salads, and desserts. Scotty's Pizza and Chicken, 715-384-8118 and Scotty'sPizza.com.
Scotty's Pizza and Chicken, how can I help you?
Tired of hearing about checking?
On Tuesday, Marshfield High School hosting its Invitational tomorrow, starting at 9 a.m. at the Fieldhouse. Columbus, Stanley Boyd, and Gilman all at the Medford Invitational at 3 p.m. Pittsfield playing in a quadrangular at Necedah tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Loyal High School hosting Rib Lake, Whitehall, and Augusta in a quadrangular at Loyal at 5 o'clock. Neelsville Granton and Chautauqua Weyerhaeuser in a the triangular at Cadott at 5 p.m. And again, that Neelsville matches can be seen tomorrow on ZaleskiSports.com. The Marathon volleyball team at a tournament at the Just a Game Fieldhouse, Wisconsin Dells tomorrow, and the Mosinee volleyball team at the Wausau West tournament at 9 a.m. Also a dual match tomorrow, Abbotsford at Greenwood, and that match will be seen tomorrow on ZaleskiSports.com as well. Well, Spencer Columbus football coach Jason Gorst now joining us for some comments on Rockets football. The Rockets opening with a win on Friday night, edging Auburndale 7-6. Spencer Columbus 6-5 last season, going to round 2 of the WIAA state playoffs. And Coach Jason Gorst now in his 16th season as Rockets football coach, 90 wins and 66 losses. Coach, thanks for coming by and welcome to our program.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, it's a good start for your ball club. First of all, fill us in on that ball game on Friday evening, the tough win against Auburndale.
Yeah, it was a heck of a defensive battle all night long. I thought on the defensive side of the ball we did a fantastic job. There was a little bit of bend here and there, but not much for break. Forced some turnovers, forced 3 turnovers, and that led to some good field position battles overall. Special teams was a huge part of the game. I thought our punt unit did very, very well to flip the field. And obviously, in a one-point game, that extra point's a real big point overall. So, just a defensive battle. Special teams was a big deal. Winning the turnover battle and the field position battle is kind of what led to the win there.
Well, what kind of thoughts do you have on this ball club this year?
I think it does start up front with our defense. I think that we're bringing back a lot of talent and a lot of physicality on that side of the football. So I think that's going to be one of the overall strengths of our team is that defensive side of the field.
Okay. Any individuals or players that are going to be making big contributions this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ryan Bernick, I think, is a standout. Last year he played defensive end. He's moving a little bit more to an outside linebacker for us, and he's making a move on the offensive side from the offensive line into the backfield as a fullback and as a tailback a little bit too. So definitely stands out. Jack Haper, extraordinarily talented young man, very great football player overall. So I'm looking forward to big things out of him this season. Jackson Manickey is a kid who really stands out as an inside linebacker and kind of that quarterback of the defense, calling things out. Excellent guard for us. Jake Sobak, another very talented senior guard and linebacker for us. Revan Chernitz gives us great size. He's a big boy, 6'5", 330. Can move pretty well. So some real physicality there overall. You round things out, I think Wes Neiman's a real weapon on the offensive side of the ball as a pass catcher and as a guy who will use in multiple different roles. And then Devin Phillips, Vikram Sinha, those guys are just, some real quick guys overall that make a lot of plays. Bryce Grippentrug as a senior is somebody who we're anticipating really stepping up for us.
Well, Coach, we mentioned that your team was did well last year, 6-5, went into the playoffs, few games. What did that experience do for your ball club last year?
I think overall a lot. I mean, it was great to be back in the playoffs, to have that feeling, and then to be able to go on the road, win a playoff game was great for the program and the community as a whole, and great for the kids. They have some real fond memories of that and lessons learned, and we've talked about how much that last loss of the year stings and how you use that to motivate yourself and fuel yourself. So. I thought it was a really nice year for our program and a great step forward. We had a great group of seniors last year, and we'll definitely miss them here.
When you have a couple of years that don't go as well as you'd like, and is there a plan in place by the coaching staff to kind of get things back on track as you did a year ago?
I mean, I think every year you're planning for that and you're trying to gear up for that. And last year it did come to fruition. And I think a lot of credit to our senior group there for being great leaders and reinstilling that winning attitude, within the locker room there. So just kind of hats off to them. And then for all of the guys who had playing experience, they got a taste of it. They know what it feels like to play in the playoffs, to win a playoff game. to win a big game at home on a Friday night under the lights, and that can be a very infectious feeling overall, and we hope that it continues to push us forward.
Well, Larry Hazer with us once again for some questions or comments. Larry?
We talked about probably in the past, but this is probably one of the better co-op things that we've seen over the years in Spencer and Columbus Catholic.
Yep.
And we see that in some of these names that you mentioned, Spencer and Columbus Catholic, and it's really worked well for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is our 25th year of the co-op, and something we're kind of celebrating this year, and we're looking forward to hearing some stories, through the years of the great football players and teams that have gone through, and the opportunities to play high-level football that this co-op's created. I'd make an argument that this might very well be the most successful co-op in the state for football. It's sustained success, and we get kids from both schools, and they come together, and they end up in each other's weddings and things like that when they're adults, and there is this SC brotherhood that's formed, and it's fun to see that the guys get together, and it just creates an opportunity to play competitive 11-player football that maybe neither school would have if it wasn't for the co-op situation. We'd be in a much different situation. So it's been very strong through the years and continues to be strong, and something that we just thoroughly enjoy that aspect of our football program.
A lot of kids coming back this year from last year. I think you probably mentioned that already, so it's got to be a little easier on your coaching staff now.
Yeah, I mean, we look forward to that experience, and we're able to pick up with things, and it is the conversations and the football knowledge. I mean, even, tonight in our practice and reviewing the game, just the level of conversation that we can have with the kids and the kids have with us about what went wrong on the field and what do we need to do to correct that. I just think there's some real mature football conversations and some real great knowledge, and you can kind of start to reference, okay, this is what we did against this team last year and it worked, this is how we attacked a cover zero, et cetera, whatever it might be, and just really enjoying that aspect. We do have a collection of guys that I think enjoy the sport and they know how to talk about the game in depth, and they work hard and they're a lot of fun to be around.
People are talking about Spencer Columbus making some noise maybe in the Central Wisconsin Conference this year.
Yeah, it's a tough conference, and it kind of goes without saying, but it is that proverbial 1 week at a time type mentality because there's no weeks off. You look at last year, 7 of the 8 teams making the playoffs, and 6 of those 7 teams winning a level 1 game, speaks for itself. And then you look at, I saw the Colby score from last night. It looks like they're, moving in a pretty positive direction too, and that's, historically been a good football program. Coach Smazel is going to do a great job up there. It is a tough conference week in, week out, and you can't look ahead. You have to focus on your next opponent. And I think it's really about improvement throughout the course of the season too, because right now you could rank us all out, and that doesn't really matter. It's how good are you in week 6 and week 7, week 8, week 9. I think that's where the conference will really be decided is who grows throughout the course of the year.
All right, Coach Gene.
Coach, how about your staff for this year?
Yeah, so, a little bit of some change and turnover with our staff. So Sam Bookberger is going to be taking over as defensive coordinator. So Eric Stratman's been our D coordinator for a long time, stepping down into a different role with the program. Sam stepping up, really excited for him. I think he's doing a nice job and off to a real good start. Andy Hogden is our special teams guy and kind of a guru when it comes to those sorts of things there. Then we're adding some other guys in. So Joe Konieczny has joined the staff this year. He'll be our JV offensive coordinator, and he's coaching D-backs and receivers. Colton Schillinger's our JV defensive guy, working with running backs, linebackers. Aaron Zenner is coming on staff. Colton Aaron coming up from our middle school program. Aaron will be working with our linemen. So a few new faces and lost some good ones. Coach Stratman, Coach Luke Hilgeman, Jared Mandel. Some guys that have been real staples for us. Unfortunately, had to step down for a number of various reasons. So, but the group of guys we have now, they're working hard and it's certainly enjoyable to be around.
And a tough ball club coming your way on Friday, playing at Pittsville on Friday night.
Yep, Pittsville is a team that we just got done watching film with our guys, and I say that expect them to come out and play hard, expect them to throw something at us that we haven't seen. I think that they're just a team that in our history of playing them has always played very well against us, and I think they're solidly coached and have some nice players. So we know we have our work cut out for us and have to focus in for Friday.
Well, Coach, good luck in that ball game and throughout the season.
Thank you much.
Spencer Columbus football coach Jason Gorsh joining us on our high school football coaches program tonight here on WOSQ and on ZaleskiSports.com. And back with more of our program in just a moment.
Beer battered cheese curds now at Masonville Dairy. Get them before they're gone in Marshfield at Weber's Farm Store, Curtis, and at the Masonville Worldwide Headquarters on Highway 10 just west of Marshfield. Master cheesemaker Ken Hyman tell us more about beer battered curds.
We've been acknowledged as having some of the best curds in the nation and in the world. We actually finished first in the world last year at the world competition. So here we are, and we always compete well over beer. So now it's the idea of making a beer batter to be the best in the world.
Continue the pursuit of providing high-quality products that can proudly be served in restaurants and homes across America.
Looking to buy flooring today? Shop R&R Flooring and Furniture. We have more flooring in stock and ready to go than the big box stores. Over 250,000 square feet.
That's right, over 250,000 square feet of luxury vinyl planking carpet in over 150 colors.
R&R guarantees you will find what you're looking for at a price you won't find anywhere else.
Grab your new floor today or schedule an installation.
When it comes to flooring, furniture, and mattresses,
it's easy.
Come to R&R Flooring and Furniture today. That's all it takes.
For this Friday night, lots of non-conference games on tap for this weekend. Marshfield Tigers meet River Falls at Hiding Stadium in Marshfield on Friday night. Game time 7 p.m. That broadcast begins at 6:45 on Friday evening on Sports Radio 92.3 FM, WOSQ, and on WOSQFM.com. Other games involving Wisconsin Valley Conference schools on Friday. Menominee plays at D.C. Everest. Rice Lake is at Wausau West. Also in non-conference football on Friday evening. Spencer Columbus is at Pittsville. Stratford at Edgar. Marathon at Auburndale. Abbotsford plays at Colby. Loyal Greenwood visits Neillsville Granton. Cadott at Stanley Boyd. Menasha at Mosinee. Tomahawk is at Wittenberg Burnham Wood. Fond du Lac Winnebago Lutheran at Amherst. Iola Scandinavia at Waiawiga Fremont. Wausau East at La Crosse Logan. Onalaska at Medford. Merrill at Crandon. Antigo plays at New London. Hayward is at Rhinelander. Lakeland at Shawano. And Parkview Albany plays at Pacelli. 8-man football action on Friday evening in the North Central East Conference. Athens is at Gilman. Owen Withee visits Newman. Thorpe at Assumption, and Alma Center Lincoln is at Cornell. Some big rivalry games on the schedule for Friday evening. Some teams that we mentioned, Stratford and Edgar meeting, but Loyal Greenwood and Neillsville Granton. And Larry, I'm sure that lots of folks in Clark County excited about that matchup once again this year.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. No, we were just talking here about what nickname that Loyal Greenwood is going to be going with this year, but it sounds like it's going to be the Bucks. But hopefully we'll get Coach Chris Linder in here to maybe explain a little bit more about that. But yeah, it's been a rivalry over the past several years. It hasn't gone Neillsville Granton's way lately, but we'll see what happens this year. I know Loyal Greenwood always brings in some big kids. big kids every year.
And they've really stabilized that program.
Yes, they have.
We talked about Jerry Sins being the head football coach at Edgar for 50 years. Coach Lindner now going into his 31st season.
Yeah,
with
he's
the
been
Lowell
there a long
program
time.
and now the Co-op Lowell Greenwood program. I can still remember his first game. I broadcast his first game.
Okay.
Up at Athens. And they got beat by Athens in the rain, and after the game, we were all leaving, and Coach Linder's still sitting on the bench in the rain thinking, what did I get into this for? But he certainly has done a great job at Lowell High School over the years.
Yes, he has.
So some very good football games being played on Friday evening. Once again, some big rivalry games. Spencer Columbus at Pittsville. Abbey Colby, always a big matchup. Cadott Stanley Boyd, a very big rivalry game as well. So make sure you take in the ball game this week. We should mention also the Friday night games you can see on Friday evening on ZaleskiSports.com. Thorpe at Assumption, Abbotsford at Colby, Menominee at DC Everest, Stratford plays at Edgar, River Falls at Marshfield, Menasha at Mosinee, Spencer Columbus at Pittsville, Wausau East at La Crosse Logan, Loyal Greenwood at Neilsville Grenton, Cadott at Stanley Boyd. Those games all can be seen on Friday evening on ZaleskiSports.com. On WPKG, the Neilsville Granson contest with Loyal Greenwood. On WOSQ, it's Marshfield and River Falls. On WDLB, Stratford and Edgar. So lots of ball games being played around central Wisconsin this weekend.
And the one note on the ZaleskiSports.com, I noticed it last week, you can get the multi-view screen where you have like 4 or 5 different games going on at once. I was watching that last week. That was pretty cool. It was on Thursday night because they didn't have a game on Thursday night, so I was able to watch, and there was several games. But that's a really neat feature that ZaleskiSports.com has now. You can watch more than one game at one time. Gives you right. It gives you the score before you have to click onto so you can tell what the score is before you click on.
Well, all this new technology kind of
it's way over my head.
befuddles me.
Yeah, it's over my head.
Can't figure it out myself, but
I just watch.
It's about the best we can do. Anyway, we're at the ZaleskiSports.com studios for our high school football preview program tonight on ZaleskiSports.com and on WOSQ. We'll take a break and come back with more of our program following these messages.
To Russell's of Neilsville for all your design service needs. From cabinets to countertops, appliances to flooring, our design specialist is here to design and plan your kitchen or bath space. Stop in and see our design team today.
Hey everybody, Nat over at Wheeler Chevrolet GMC, and going on now through August 3rd is 0% financing for 5 years on Silverados. You heard that right, 0% financing on all Silverado make and models.
We have team members in our lives, whether it's this or that or friends, and he's my team member that looked for my best interest. And he said, we're going to get you up walking without the walker. And I'm like, oh, really? And he says, yeah, we are. I'm really grateful from the bottom of my heart to Shai and his staff because they made the impossible seem possible.
Call to set up a free, no obligation evaluation. Next Step Prosthetics, the fit for you.
Award-winning exceptional cheese is something we know to taste and believe. Visit our products, Year's Nasonville Dairy Cheeses have earned several local and international awards. Experience their cheese at your favorite grocery or cheese store.
For their safe driving.
High school sports coverage is brought to you by Forward Bank, depositor-owned community bank, serving Clark, Taylor, Price, Wood, and Marathon counties. Member FDIC. Visit forward.bank. Hefco Floral in the former City Hall Plaza, Marshfield. They have been your florist since 1912. Discover the power of the flower. And I-State Truck Center, 1505 South Central Avenue, Marshfield. The one place for all things heavy truck.
school football preview program this evening on WOSQ and ZaleskiSports.com with Larry Hazer. I'm Gene Delisio. Mike Steinwagner helping out as well this evening. Our next guest is Neillsville Granton football coach Reed Lehman. Since, Larry, you're the voice of Neillsville Granton sports, why don't you step in and lead off the interview with Coach Lehman for us?
Coach, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate
Thanks for having me.
You're in your 7th season now. 1-8 last year, but you got off to a good start beating New Lisbon, shutting them out last Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of a deal where we told these kids we got to go out and be ready to play our best football every week, no matter who our opponent is. And I think we did a pretty good job of that this week. Between our defense taking the ball away 4 times with 4 times, 4 interceptions. We forced a couple fumbles, didn't recover them. The 1 interception for a touchdown. Then the offense, we did a solid job throughout the game. Kind of had our bumps early with the new offense and kids trying to make sure we knew what we were doing and everything. But overall, I thought the kids played really hard. Had a lot of energy, which was good for us.
For those not familiar with Neillsville Granton football this year, some new things happening as far as the coaching staff this year.
Yeah, so our 2 guys that ran the offense over the last season both are no longer with us. Chris Paschal, who was our offensive coordinator for all 6 years prior to this year with me, and then Alex Block, who was our JV offensive coordinator last year. So both of those guys are no longer on the staff, and so I took over the offense and brought Nathan Schmidt, who had been my JV defensive coordinator, up to be the varsity defensive coordinator. So kind of a new offense and the new defense for the kids to learn, but I think things have been going really well with that. And then we brought on some good staff, guys that have played in the program with Matt Kren and Dom Glassbrenner and Mike Gross as some assistants this year. So,
how did that first game look? As far you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but offensively first of all, and then defensively, how did it look with the new coordinators?
I thought things went pretty well. Defensively, I thought Coach Schmidt had our kids really well prepared for what we were going to see. Kids were flying around, which was kind of one of our big goals this year, was to get kids, putting multiple dents in the ball, as Coach Schmidt likes to say, getting a lot of dudes flying around, getting in that screen at the end of a play. So I thought we did a really nice job defensively with that, and offensively, we kind of had to, kind of see who's ready to play what spots. I thought our running backs, between Marcus Luchterhand and Lucas Strangfeld, those are our 2 main guys. They ran really hard, did a nice job for us. Landon Rakestraw getting in the mix, carrying the ball, catching the ball, throwing the ball, a little bit of everything from him this year. And Jackson Schruth at quarterback as well. I thought those guys both did a nice job commanding the huddle, getting our guys in the right places, and our offensive line played pretty well. We have to work on some things, but overall it was a pretty well executed game, I felt.
You have some kids you have to replace from last year, and it looked like in that first game things looked pretty good as far as replacements. So you mentioned Jackson Schruth at quarterback. You're kind of platooning him and Landon Rakestraw at the quarterback position. Yeah,
those guys, I think they both kind of bring some different things to the table with us when they're under center. Obviously, Landon is just an elusive athlete who can make a lot of things happen when the ball's in his hands, and sometimes it's hard to make sure we can get the ball in his hands if he's playing a different position. But if we put him there, we know he's going to at least get a touch. And Jackson, did a really nice job of being able to make some good reads with the ball on offense and threw some nice passes. Still some things we need to work on with him, with some of his footwork and different things too, that hopefully we can clean up some of those times where we had some chances for some really big plays throwing the ball and we just missed some guys by a little bit. So, but both those guys played really well. The O-line we had Charlie Ripley and Trevor Hart rotating at center, and then our guards were Mikey Harris and Brady Gerhardt, and then our tackles were Jace Pedersen and Evan Gross. So Jace and Evan and Brady all had varsity experience last year on the O-line, so we brought back 3 guys that had played, and then those other guys are all new to the varsity field. So, offensive coordinator for you now, how has that been going? Because you've been defense
pretty much all the time here. Now you're the offensive guy. How's that been going for you?
Right, yeah. So for my first 8 years in Neilsville, I've been the defensive coordinator. So it's a change. It's something new. I still catch myself trying to watch our opponent's offenses when I'm watching film and see, thinking I got a scout for that. But, luckily I don't really have to do that, and that's something that Coach Schmidt does a nice job with. But, I mean, it's different. In college I played both sides of the ball at different points, and, so I have experience with some of that stuff. And, so it's been different, but it's been a fun experience and something where I think, the kids are excited about what we're trying to do offensively this year, which is exciting as a coach.
You mentioned when you came in that you were talking with your brother, who is, of course, the head coach at Stratford. Is there anything that you take from him at all over the years?
Oh, absolutely.
You guys as brothers talk?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, during football season especially, we probably have, try to have at least a conversation once a week about how things are going and who we might have that following week. And so it's been, I think there's a lot more I can take from him than he can take from me usually. He's been doing it a lot longer. He's, the oldest brother of the family. He's, kind of the guy that I lean to for a lot of things. And, I was talking with Jerry Sins out there too. And, our offense is kind of geared around a little bit of the stuff that Edgar does, different and, everything, but, tried to take some things that maybe I knew from high school way back when. And tried to incorporate some of that into our stuff this year too. So,
Loyal Greenwood coming up Friday. Always a tough test for you guys. They always bring in a big lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. They got some big horses. So it'll be a good test for us. The good thing is with it being a non-conference game early on, we'll be able to kind of figure out what we have, and it'll be a good test for us because we know they're going to try to be physical. They're going to try to pound the ball down our throats. They're going to fly downhill on defense and try to stop the run. So it'll be a good test for us to be able to see kind of how we can respond to a team that wants to really be physical with us.
A lot of people say Mondovi's the team to beat. Looking on paper, they probably are going to be the team to beat that Clorbell Conference. Always a tough conference every year. How do you see it stacking up this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think if I had to pick somebody to say that's going to be at the top of the conference, I'd put Mondovi there. But it's hard to ever bet against Regis. Elk Mound has been building. They just need to, see if they can put a full season together. And I think they're going to be really tough. Fall Creek has always been tough lately. I mean, they took Regis to a 1-point game in the playoffs last year. Durand has been getting better. Their team looked really good when we played them in 7-on-7 this summer. So, I mean, I think kind of everybody. I think Stanley Boyd might have been the only team that ended up losing this last week out of our conference, and that's pretty consistent for our teams in our conference to play well and go far in the playoffs if we get there. And so it's a tough conference. It's going to be one that tests you. There's no easy games, no matter who you are. So. Excited for the competition and the pressure of competing in a tough conference.
Gene?
Coach, just one question I have for you. Your program perhaps has not done as well as you'd like in recent years, so give us the significance of a big win for your ball club in Week 1 this year.
Yeah, I think it's just huge for our kids building some confidence that, hey, the things that we've been doing can work, and we need to just kind of keep sticking to those little things that we're focusing on in practice, and being able to hopefully try to perfect those things as much as we can, and then go out and be able to compete week after week because of those things.
All right, well, Coach, thanks for coming by, and good luck this week.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That's Neilsville Granson football coach Reed Lehman joining us on our football coaches program. Once again, Neilsville Granton takes on Loyal Greenwood in football action on Friday night at Neilsville. Game time, 7 p.m. That broadcast Friday at 6:45 on 92.7 FM WPKG. And we'll come back with Loyal Greenwood football coach Chris Lindner as our program continues following these messages.
Wisconsin shops at Gross Auto Group for 3 big reasons. No hassle pricing, lifetime warranty, massive selection, price to move. Gross Auto Group's no hassle pricing means the price you see is the price you pay. No back and forth, no wasted time. Our lifetime engine warranty means we want your new ride running for as long as you own it. And with 8 brands in 6 stores, Gross Auto has the ride you want at the price you need. 3 reasons, 3 towns. Gross Auto Group in Neelsville, Black River Falls, and Marshfield.
Cobuson Bus is hiring, it's drivers that they need. Cobuson Bus is hiring, it's the perfect job for me.
Cobuson Buses would like to thank all of our school bus drivers throughout the state of Wisconsin for their safe driving. If you would like to make a difference in your community with a fun and rewarding part-time job, apply at cobuson.com.
Cobuson Bus is hiring, it's the perfect job for me.
Welcome to the competition where only the best healthcare plans rise to the top. Megasure.
Presenting Paperwork Pound Cake, a half-baked plan with flaky service sprinkled on top.
Ooh. Next up, Security Health Plan.
I call this one the Sweet Security. It has high-quality coverage folded in, and it's frosted with award-winning local service that's sweet but never sugar-coated.
That's a slice of better. Chef Security, congratulations. Truly the recipe for better.
From humble beginnings in 1904, the Wheatrick family has grown Grassland Dairy Products into one of the largest processors of butter in the nation. Based in Greenwood, Wisconsin, the family and its hundreds of employees continue their pursuit of providing high-quality products that can proudly be served in restaurants and homes across America.
You're listening to our high school football coaches program on Sports Radio 92.3 FM, WOSQ, Spencer, Marshfield, and WOSQFM.com, and ZaleskiSports.com. With Mike Steinwagner and Larry Hazer, I'm Gene Delisio. Our next guest is the longtime football coach at Loyal Greenwood, Chris Lindner. Coach, thanks for coming by, and welcome to our program for this year.
Well, thank you for having me, Gene. It's always been a pleasure.
Well, it's good to have you with us, and to tell us about your season. Your ball club opened with a tough win against Marathon on Friday. Tough loss there, close ball game. But tell us about that contest, what you saw from your ball club on Friday night.
The inability to hold on to the ball in the first half. We had, I believe, 5 fumbles, and 4 of them that we lost. But with that, I thought our kids battled back and had an opportunity to at least tie it on the last couple plays of the game, and we didn't get that done. So mistakes that hurt us, and things that we have to clean up this week going into the Nizhel-Grattan game.
Well, what do things look like for your ball club this year?
So we are, I would say, senior dominated. We have 12 seniors that have a lot of experience, I'll say, and we'll just go across talking about offense and defense. Offensively, we've returned 2 to 3 really good linemen with Zach Kind at center. He's kind of runs the show up front for us, and then we have he's a senior, and then we have 2 sophomores, Ross Lidner and Dom Morales. They will be our guards, with Cam Miller vying for a spot between those 2. And then our tackles are a senior, those are 2 sophomores, and the tackle is a senior, Jack Meyer, and a junior, Flynn Hansen. So Jack is kind of also has been an anchor for us on the offensive line and has done a really good job for us in the past. So looking for big things out of our line, good size, looking to continue to improve on our quickness and the ability to stay on blocks. Our tight ends are going to be Rhett Lemovic and Landon Landini, with Rice and Ashbeck possibly having some time at a split end or a receiver. Our backfield consists of Adam Kautzer, senior, Isaac Zabel, a senior, and our fullback Jerome Buchanan, who's a senior. Jacob Schmidt may see some time at fullback. He's also a senior. And then our quarterback is Jake Lidner, returns as a starter in that position. Has some good experience running the flex bone and wing T hybrid that we run, and I think he throws the ball well. So offensively, we are excited for what we are able to do or what we could do. I don't think we're as one-dimensional as we have been in the past, where it has just been run only or 90%, 95%. So I think with the receivers we have and with Jake, I think that we can open up the offense a little bit more. Last year, I believe we opened it up some second half of the year, but we lose some quality players in Kane Tolfar, who was his number one target, and Reed Stiglitz. So we're hoping Rhett replaces Kane in a hopefully as productive way, and Isaac and Adam do the same with replacing Reed. So I think we're still a run team. All right, run team first. We want to pound the ball, but I think our ability to pass is probably a little bit better this year than it has been in the past. So, yeah.
How about the defense?
Defensively, you're going to hear about basically the same guys up front. We have Zach and Jack, both seniors at tackle, D tackle. Our ends are Dom Morales and Ross Lidner and Rhett Lamovic and Jerome Buchanan. So you have two sophomores and then a junior, and Jerome is a senior. Rhett is going to play a little bit of end and outside linebacker for us as a senior. Middle linebackers, we have Jake Lidner, a senior, Jacob Schmidt, a senior, and Blake Barlow is going to vie for a spot there, also see some time as a junior. Outside linebacker, Adam Kautzer, senior, and Rice and Ashbeck and Rhett will be vying for that outside linebacker spot. Corners are Landon Landini, senior, Carson Preen, senior, and Brady Rakovic is a junior. So those three will challenge for the corner spot, and then we have Isaac Zabel as our safety. So looking for some big things out of our defense also, just being more mature, that older senior dominated. So we are hoping that we can produce some turnovers and play a stellar defense.
Coach, you talked about opening up the offense a little bit. How does that work in your system? Some things you'd like to do now that perhaps you couldn't do in past years?
I think a little more play action, a little more rolling out of Jake and some things like that. Basically, the ability to run or pass or run has kind of opened things up a little bit. And I think some of our targets are, I think it started last year, a little bigger targets and a little more athletic maybe. And our line has done a nice job of protecting. So I think there's more of a polishing of the passing offense than we've had in the past.
Larry, any questions or comments you have for Coach Lindner?
Well, Coach, you brought in, you graduated a lot of seniors, but now you're bringing back a lot of seniors as well this year. Does that make it, is it easier for your coaching staff now, or a lot of these seniors coming in, are they inexperienced?
No, I would say the majority is they have played. They were part of our team last year. There are a few, like Rhett was not out for the last 2 years, Lamovic, but he's 6'5", 225, 230 pounds. So he's athletic enough that he can play. He played enough football in his life that it hasn't dropped off, and his size and athletic ability has definitely helped him.
It's almost like you're just plugging in different pieces, almost the same size as the guys that left.
Yes, which is very fortunate.
Yes,
because I don't think it's like that after this year. So
okay. You're in your 31st year as a head coach for Loyal Greenwood, and now you're in a different conference again. It seems like every couple of years you're going to a different conference. You're in the Merriwood Conference now, and that's got some tough guys in there.
Yep. So we come from a very
Yeah,
tough conference,
right.
and it doesn't get a whole lot easier. Yeah, very competitive. Obviously, Edgar and Auburndale and Abbotsford have been stellar for the last decade or so, and Edgar obviously for a long time. Pacelli is going to be better this year. So, with the absence of Iola, I still see it as a week in and week out tough battles.
How much of a factor of playing in that Central Wisconsin Conference the last several seasons? Has that been an advantage a little bit for you guys coming in now?
I would say. I would think because that was, every week was a major battle. And I think some of our problem was I think we play a physical game, and I think we kind of beat ourselves up a little bit halfway or into the season with that competition. So I think it really preps us. I thought it prepped us well for the playoffs, or against Edgar last year. And so I think it has done a tremendous job of preparing us of what we're going to see in this conference.
I was going to say it had to be a little confidence boost to how close you came with Edgar last year in the playoffs.
Yeah,
coming into this season.
Yep, it was right there, and so yeah, it was an exciting game, and I think it helped propel some of the enthusiasm throughout the winter and spring and into this season.
Now, I'm doing the game this Friday night on WPKG and ZaleskiSports.com. What do I go with as a nickname for LG football?
Don't go there.
I'll just say LG football.
There you go.
Right.
That's good enough.
I'll do
That's
that.
Good enough.
All right,
So-
I'll do that.
Coach, I do want to ask you, as we mentioned, this is your 31st season as the head football coach over there. Well, there have been some years you've been a co-coach, but for the most part, you've been there 31 years. A couple of things in particular that have been changed or different from when you began as a head coach to today?
So actually, it is my 31st as head, and I was 2 years an assistant, so this is my 33rd year. What I would say has changed is the rivalries. You don't have them anymore because you're changing conferences. It seems like every 2 years. As soon as you think you have something established, then you're going, and you probably won't see that team unless both you make the playoffs. So, yeah, I would say that's one. I don't know. I'm a little old school. I loved the old playoff system of a play on a Thursday, and then you're playing a first playoff game on a Tuesday and a Saturday, and I'm about that. I get it why they changed it because now it seems like it's a whole another season or half a season, 4 or 5 games. But that's the way it is. But it is. With technology and the advancement, I would say the advancement of athletes, of training and where they have gone from when I first started, it's unbelievable. And technology has solved a lot of traveling, I would say, of scouting and things like that makes it a lot easier. But I'm one of those guys. I miss those days. That was a lot of fun doing that stuff. Pain in the butt finding people to do stuff, but it was good. So I see those as some major things that have kind of changed. And I don't know. I see football as just an unbelievable sport to play. But you do see it really. Numbers have gone down across the state, and you talk to local people or local coaches, and if you get 40 or 45 kids nowadays, that seems like you're doing really well. So I just hope it doesn't dissipate to nothing. So but it's been a good career and a lot of fun, a lot of great memories of great coaches that I've coached with, and a lot of great players that did a lot of amazing things for us. So,
And being in this new conference might help your rivalry situation. You had Spencer, Stratford in the other conference, but now you've got more local programs to deal with.
Yeah, so that would be the other thing, is just the travel, because I think our closest game was an hour away, to an hour and 45. Now our farthest game is back to where we were with the Cloverwood, and our farthest game is an hour with Pacelli. So, but it'll be interesting. I'm excited to be in this conference, and we will see what we can do.
All right. Well, Coach, good luck on Friday night, and good luck throughout the season.
Well, thank you, and thank you for having me here.
We're happy to do that. Well, Greenwood football coach Chris Linder joining us on our high school football coaches program this evening. We'll come back with more in just a moment.
From humble beginnings in 1904, the Wheatrick family has grown Grassland Dairy Products into one of the largest processors of butter in the nation. Based in Greenwood, Wisconsin, the family and its hundreds of employees continue their pursuit of providing high-quality products that can proudly be served in restaurants and homes across America.
Welcome to Taqueria Monarca at the Marshfield Mall. Experience the bold and fresh flavors of Mexico in Marshfield at Taqueria Monarca. Try the delicious tacos, burritos, quesadillas, bowls, and drinks. And kick things up a notch with their fresh salsa bar. Taqueria Monarca is fast, casual, and delicious.
We are ready to serve you the bold, fresh flavors from Mexico. Welcome to Taqueria Monarca.
Beer battered cheese curds now at Nasonville Dairy. Get them before they're gone in Marshfield at Weber's Farm Store, Curtis, and at the Nasonville Worldwide Headquarters on Highway 10 just west of Marshfield. Master cheesemaker Ken Hyman, tell us more about beer battered curds.
We've been acknowledged as having some of the best curd in the nation and in the world. We actually finished first in the world last year, world competition. So here we are, and we always compete well with other people. So now it's the idea of making a beer batter that could be the best in the world.
We have team members in our lives, whether it's this or that or friends, and he's my team member that looked for my best interest. And he said, we're going to get you up walking without the walker. And I'm like, oh, really? And he says, yeah, we are. I'm really grateful from the bottom of my heart to Shai and his staff, because they made the impossible seem possible.
Call to set up a free, no obligation evaluation. Next Step Prosthetics, the fit for you.
Again, that's our high school football preview program on WOSQ and ZaleskiSports.com. Thanks to our coach who's stopped by to talk football with us this evening. Larry, should be a fun year watching high school football once again this fall.
Yep, it'll be interesting to see what teams emerge when it's all said and done.
And once again, Larry will broadcast the Loyal Greenwood Neilsville Granton game for us on WPKG on Friday evening. We'll have Marshfield and River Falls on WOSQ. We'll have Stratford Edgar on WDLB and on ZaleskiSports.com on Friday. A whole slew of ball games: Thorpe at Assumption, Abbotsford at Colby, Menominee at DC Everest, Stratford Edgar, River Falls Marshfield, Menasha at Mosinee, Spencer Columbus at Pittsville, Wausau East at La Crosse Logan, Loyal Greenwood at Neilsville Grenton, and Cadott at Stanley Boyd all Friday evening on ZaleskiSports.com. Once again, for Mike Steinwagner and Larry Hazer, I'm Gene Delisio. Thanks for joining us this evening for our high school football preview program on WOSQ and ZaleskiSports.com.
So 3rd down and 11, back at the 8. Barfneck back to pass. Being rushed. And he has it picked off! And it's a pick 6! Whoa. Reaching up in the air was Jackson Truth. Picked it out of the air, and he was already in the end zone when he had it in his hands. How about that for an athletic play from Jackson Truth?
Just put your hands up and make sure you hold on to the ball.
Yeah, you got wow. You know, touchdown! He did what?
Ref was right on it, I think. Oh, man.